All-Star game this season, Yankees lefty Nestor Cortez now goes on the IL with a groin injury. Thunder rookie center Chet Holmgren will miss the upcoming season with a right foot injury. He got hurt during a Pro-Am game in Seattle. Cowboys offensive lineman Tyron Smith could be out until December with a torn left hamstring. ESPN's Jeff Saturday.
Dak is a fantastic quarterback. I think he's still on the rise. I think they had planned for this, understanding how Tyron had been battling injuries, so this is not a surprise.
Jeff Saturday on KJ and Max. Former Browns center J.C. Tretter is retiring from the NFL after 8 years, but he'll stay on as president of the NFL Players Association. Cleveland cut Tretter back in March. Illinois names Tommy DeVito its starting quarterback for the opener this week against Wyoming. NASCAR driver Kurt Busch will not be available for the playoffs. He's been out more than a month with concussion symptoms. That means the last 2 playoff spots will be open Saturday night.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Musso. And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Larry Holder, 1 hour from right now. Yesterday, we checked in on the Auburn quarterback battle. Today, we'll check in on Ole Miss. Neil McCready will be with us coming up in hour 3. You know, I wanted to start the show talking about recapping what Brian Polian had to say yesterday, the LSU special teams coordinator and recruiting coordinator. But I decided, literally as I was walking in here, I'm going to pivot a little bit. Because I continue to be surprised. Yesterday on the show, we did talk very briefly about some fella from Notre Dame who was on Crane and Company, who kind of took a shot at Brian Kelly, and I just kind of brushed it aside. And his name is Brian Driscoll. He's from something called Irish Breakdown. I'm sure he's a great guy, but whatever. And I'm only revisiting this because I probably spent 60 seconds on it and brushed it aside, but subsequently after the show yesterday, I had plenty of people text me, asking me my thoughts on it, emailing me, asking me on Twitter. We talked about it on Scone and Tea, then today on Morning Scone, and I'm like, I talked about this yesterday, but I feel like I need to be a little more emphatic so you know exactly my point on all of this. If you missed it, real quick, David Cohn from Crane and Company, all these guys, they're friends of ours. David, who played quarterback at Michigan, by the way, asked the question of Brian Driscoll from Irish Breakdown if Brian Kelly will win a national championship during his time at LSU. Here was the interaction.
Brian Kelly, the winningest coach in Notre Dame history. He goes to Louisiana State. The last 3 head coaches for LSU have won national titles. Will Brian Kelly win a national championship at LSU?
No, he won't. He won't recruit the way he needs to recruit. I don't think he's the coach he was at Grand Valley, the coach he was at Cincinnati. I think that guy is gone. I think he is look, Notre Dame wasn't lacking talent. Notre Dame lacked big game production because Brian Kelly just didn't get those teams ready to play in big games. And I don't think that all of a sudden miraculously changes because he's now in Baton Rouge. I think Notre Dame fit more of his personality. It fit his recruiting base. The most southern place he'd ever coached before Notre Dame was Cincinnati. Notre Dame's the second most southern place he's ever coached. So I don't see the fit, to be honest with you. And say that's sour grapes or the case may be, but honestly, guys, I was ready for Brian Kelly to be done 2020 because I feel he had taken the program as far as he could, and I I don't see him cleaning up that dumpster fire at LSU anytime soon.
Okay, I went through some of this when Brian Kelly was hired. I'll do it again because I feel like I've had to repeat this so many times. And with the season a little more than a week away, I'll do this for what I hope is the very last time that Brian Kelly is the coach at Notre Dame. The guy, Brian Driscoll, first of all, God bless him, you can't be more contradictory than when you say Brian Kelly won't recruit at the level he needs to in one breath, and then in the next breath saying talent wasn't the problem at Notre Dame, it was lack of big game production. Well, who recruited the talent, Jack Legg? Clearly, he had what you thought was enough talent to win, but didn't have big game production. The problem with Notre Dame, and this is not a Brian Kelly problem. Okay, I'll circle back to Kelly in a second. First of all, the problem with Notre Dame was not Brian Kelly. The problem with Notre Dame is Notre Dame. And I'm saying this for the benefit of any LSU fan who may have some lingering doubt or questioning the legitimacy of the pushback from Notre Dame. And you've got to understand the mindset of people associated with Notre Dame. And this is not coming from someone who is sitting in the South, SEC-centric, who can't see the forest through the trees. I've told you this before. My freshman year of college, I went to Holy Cross. It's run by the same priests that run Notre Dame. It's literally across the street. Yes, it's the place where Rudy went. I was trying to transfer into Notre Dame. It's the place where I wanted to go. My brother went there. He's got 2 degrees. I lived there. We had so much synergies with the campus. My student ID card allowed me access to a lot. I had student tickets to Notre Dame football games. I went to all of them. I was able to work out at the Rock, which is the Rockney Center, which is the student, rec center, essentially. You could eat in the dining halls. You could check out books at the Hesburgh, which is the library where Touchdown Jesus is. Y'all, I was on Notre Dame's campus every day. I lived that life for a year, and I hated it. And so I came home, and it's the best decision I ever made. I did really well in school, was able to get into manship at LSU, got to pick my classes because I had a 4.0. It was great. It was a great decision for me to come to LSU, and I'm telling you, I got to experience that culture day in and day out for an entire year. And Notre Dame is a wonderful place, y'all. It really is. It's a beautiful campus. It's got tremendous history. It's a pristine academic reputation. It is very elite. All of that stuff, and it is right for so many people. Here's the problem Notre Dame has, okay? And this is not a Brian Kelly problem. This is what Brian Kelly was fighting against while he was there. If you're an athlete at Notre Dame, you live in the general student campus dorms. It's a campus of 8,000 in the middle of a crappy town in Northwest Indiana. We had a Steak and Shake there when I was there, and it was the highlight whenever someone who had a car could drive to the Steak and Shake. Most every meal is eaten on campus. You live in the same dorm for 4 years, which is kind of like your fraternity. Dorms have mascots and colors, and you do the basketball tournament, and the dorms sit together at football games. You have to be so willing to be part of that culture. Student athletes don't have student dorm or athletic dorms. You could be the number one recruit in the country, and you could show up on campus the first day, and you could be rooming with an econ major from San Mateo. It's just a very different place. There's also not a lick of talent in the state of Indiana. When Brian Kelly wanted to see an elite prospect, he had to get on a plane and go fly to see him. Last year, his class of 25 signees at Notre Dame represented, I think, 19 states. It's incredible. You got to crisscross the country to go see talent. Brian Kelly or any coach at LSU, you want to go see a 5-star receiver, drive 5 minutes from LSU to Catholic High and go see Shelton Sampson. You want to see your quarterback commit for this year's class, drive 20 minutes to Woodlawn and go see Ricky Collins. You want to see your 4-star running back, go 10 minutes down Perkins and go to Liberty Magnet. You want to see a high 4-star safety, go 15 minutes north to Zachary. You want to see the best offensive lineman in the state? Maybe you have to hop on a plane for a 20-minute jet ride to go up and see Lance Hurd at Neville. Do you understand the point? The advantages LSU has is in the dirt. The advantage LSU has is in the recruiting base in the state. And I've said this so many times now, I don't even know how to say it any other way. LSU, Georgia, Ohio State, the only 3 Power 5 schools in talent-rich states. Every other Power 5 has another Power 5 in its state pulling away talent. LSU doesn't have that. The pick of the litter. Nick Saban put the fence around the state and showed every coach subsequently how to do it and made LSU a place kids here want to go. Notre Dame doesn't have that. What they had for so many years was brand. They were on NBC. They had won championships, 4 horsemen, all that sort of stuff. Touchdown Jesus, Newt Rockne. None of that matters anymore. An 18-year-old high school senior right now has no concept of Notre Dame being nationally relevant in football. No concept whatsoever. That is what Notre Dame is fighting against. And until whoever the coach is, if it's Brian Kelly or Marcus Freeman or whoever, until Notre Dame is willing to remove its glass ceiling, until Notre Dame is willing to say, you know what, coach? We got really strict academic restrictions here. And this prospect normally wouldn't get into school here. But because they run 4.3 and have a 38-inch vertical, we're going to make an exception and let this kid in because we know it's going to help you on your football team. Until Notre Dame is willing to do that, they will never win. Because the problem is, yes, you can get really good players. Look, Jaden Ausberry's a fantastic football player right here at U-High. He's going up to South Bend. Absolutely. You can get really good football players that go. You can't get 85 of them every single year. That's the problem Notre Dame has. And that's the problem it will continue to have until it decides it doesn't want to have that problem anymore. The issue that Brian Kelly had at Notre Dame was a Notre Dame problem. And it will always be that. And back to the point I was making initially with the guy from Irish Breakdown that he doesn't understand. Notre Dame fans largely can't see the forest through the trees. When you live in that culture and you think what you have is the greatest thing in the country, it's so hard to pull back, take the 10,000-foot view, and realize actually what we have here as an inhibitor. Because you and I live here in the South, and every single football Saturday, we see Baton Rouge and Tuscaloosa and Athens, Georgia, and Gainesville, Florida, and now College Station, and you see people that care so rabidly that they're willing to give up things like state funding to build great facilities and all this crazy stuff that goes associated with it, where the governor has the football coach and the team to the governor's mansion this week for dinner. Like, that's what it's like here. They don't understand that, which is why whenever they run up against Clemson or Alabama or LSU or even Ohio State, they can't compete. Guess what's going to happen week 1 when Marcus Freeman takes Notre Dame to the Horseshoe? What are they, Muse? What are they, a 19-point underdog? What's the line? I didn't know if you knew it off the top. Whatever, they're a 3-score underdog. Marcus Freeman is going to go take that team to the Horseshoe and get his ass kicked. And I'm curious if Brian Driscoll thinks that's because Brian Kelly didn't recruit the horses or because they have talent, right? They have talent. Brian Kelly wasn't a good big game coach. He couldn't maximize that talent, get production in big games. So what are we going to say about Marcus Freeman when they go get their ass kicked week 1 in the Horseshoe by Ohio State? And C.J. Stroud throws for 400 yards, and Jackson Smith and Jiba and Marvin Harrison Jr. go bonkers and wild. Is it because Brian Kelly just left the cupboard bare? Or is it because Marcus Freeman's not a big game coach? It's because your roster don't look like theirs. Yeah, your roster's good enough to beat Michigan State and to beat Purdue and to beat Navy and to beat USC when they're bad and to have really fine seasons. But to be in the upper crust, like the top 6 programs in the country that every stinking year are right there. You know them. Bama, Georgia, Ohio State, Oklahoma, even though they get their head kicked in the playoff now every year. LSU when they've been there. Like, your roster has to look a certain way. And it can never look that way at Notre Dame until they're willing to remove their self-imposed glass ceiling. But they're not willing to do that because they think the thing they have is perfect. And if that's your mentality, great, awesome. Keep being a great academic institution, graduate successful people, become difference makers in the world, but stop thinking you're ever going to be a championship contender in football, because in the reality in which we all live now, that will never happen at that school. Not with Marcus Freeman, not with Jesus Christ himself coming off of the Hesburgh Library and from his touchdown arms into Notre Dame Stadium to coach that team. It'll never happen. It'll never happen until they have the horses. And they don't have the horses because they won't allow them into that school. That's the problem Notre Dame has. That's not a Brian Kelly problem. That's a Notre Dame problem. What Brian Kelly has here and will continue to have is every resource he needs imaginable. Every facility, every coach, every buffet line, whatever you need to win at the highest level, you will have at LSU. That's why he's here. So I know a lot of people went bonkers on that guy yesterday, and it's not him. He's just one of many voices that sing the same song and have, while that school has failed to win a national title for 34 years, and it's going to be 35 and 36 and 37 and on and on and on and on until they fix themselves. And that's nothing Marcus Freeman's going to be able to do. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. Stay here.
AFR.
Brought to you by Darren James and Associates, powered by eXp Realty. Every home listed by every company, all in one place. You know where to find them. Agent225.com. If you are buying or selling, commercial or residential, you need Darren James. There's nobody better. Proof's in the pudding. Darren gets the results. Wall Street Journal is listed the top 1% of realtors in America. That is objective data based on the number of homes closed. That's Darren James. You want to know how he does so much volume? Have one phone conversation with him. One phone conversation with Darren James, I promise you, in one phone conversation, everything you have heard me say about Darren for years, you'll go, okay, I get it now. 335-7666. That's Darren Sell. Call him right now. If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, 335-7666 or agent225.com. That's agent225.com for Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Today people are walking to a bar. The first two order the same old margs. The third, Nuevo Topo Chico Margarita Hard Seltzer. Crafted with real lime juice and a crisp tequila flavor. Topo Chico Margarita Hard Seltzer.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today at revelryteam.com. Revelry Sports, the official tailgate partner of LSU Athletics.
after further review with Matt Moscona. Presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Is there any ambiguity any longer? My feeling. Does anybody have any questions? Anyone in the back? Muse, any questions? My feeling, Notre Dame, Brian Kelly, all this. You have any questions? We good?
I think I'm good.
Okay, you good, Paul? Good. Anybody have any more questions?
I'm good.
Okay, Paulie's got it. Good. If you have any questions in the back, feel free to send them. Email me, tweet me, text me, 396-4400, 225-396-4400. I think by now, though, everyone should be very clear where I stand. Paulie, we're going to clip that segment. We're going to put it on the AFR LSU YouTube channel. We'll blast it out there. And please, when we do, go onto Twitter and tag every single Notre Dame fan, beat writer, whoever you know, and hopefully they'll take 10 minutes and watch that. And maybe that will help them. Maybe. Probably not. I guarantee you it won't. What will in turn happen is they'll point the finger at me and mock me. That's what's going to happen. But look, man, you got, what's the old saying? You can lead a horse to water, you can't make him drink. And that's the culture at Notre Dame, and it's what it will continue to be. Okay. One of the things we've talked about over the past several weeks, certainly since training camp has started in the NFL, is how I have become more and more bullish on the Saints to win the division, and how we're starting to see a lot of people outside of the black and gold sphere kind of feel in the same way. I told you every day when we sit here in studio, we've got ESPN and ESPN2 on monitors. And what's the show called, Muse, the one that's always on here?
Daily Wager.
Daily Wager. Okay, so every day there's a betting show called Daily Wager. And like every day now, they end the show with best bets. And I look up there and I see Saints plus 330 to win the NFC South. It's kind of trending that way. We talked about Yahoo and the Madden thing, how they got the Saints winning the Super Bowl. More and more and more, and I've highlighted a bunch. I think the Falcons and the Panthers are not going to be any good, and I think Tampa has massive questions. Injuries on the offensive line, Brady vanishes for 11 days during camp. You got a new head coach. You got injuries at receiver. You got past their prime pass catchers in Rudolph and Julio. I'm telling you, they just got big issues. Here's another one. Pete Prisco, CBS Sports HQ. Take it away.
The New Orleans Saints are going to win their division. Now, that's a bold prediction because everybody thinks the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the team to beat in that division. Everybody thinks the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a team to compete for a Super Bowl. But the New Orleans Saints will find a way with this talented roster to win the division.
Wasn't it Bart Scott last week? It was Bart Scott last week who verbally pimp slapped Stephen A., who was basically waving the banner that everyone else is waving about the Saints. Sean Payton's gone, no Drew Brees, Jameis Winston, crab legs, eating a W, all that sort of stuff. And Bart Scott basically ran through everything we talk about here, which is all the talent on this roster that still exists in a very winnable division. You're hearing more and more and more of it. I'm just saying, file it away. I've got the Saints at 10-7. I'm not moving off that. I don't know if they'll win the division at 10-7. I don't know if that's going to be good enough, but I think Tampa takes a step back this year. I think the Saints will have a great chance to win the division and just get in the tournament. Get in the tournament, make you a run. The Saints will have their final preseason game on Friday in the Dome. There's always the question with these preseason games, players to watch, things like that. Who's on the bubble. And there's some very obvious ones, and it's the same ones that we've talked about every game so far. Look, Zach Bond is on the bubble. A lot of people have talked about Kirk Merritt, who's had a great camp, probably good enough to make this team, but is there a spot for him? We've talked a ton about running back and linebacker, the guys there. All of that is very true. I'll give you a few things that in this final preseason game I'm going to be looking for. Notably, will we see the starters play? We found out Tom Brady is going to play in the Bucs preseason game. There's a lot of starting quarterbacks, as we found out throughout the day today, who are planning on playing in their final preseason game. We all know traditionally the third preseason game is when we would see the most, the starters play the most snaps. But that was when there were 4 preseason games. We're going to kind of get a chance to see how the Saints handle this for the first time since they only played 2 preseason games last year because Ida canceled the third one. So yes, I'm very curious to see if we see the starters, but I'm also interested to know if Dennis Allen and this staff are going to put more stock in the practices or the games. Because so much of the hay is already in the barn, and generally the last preseason game are guys auditioning for their next job. But there are some guys worth keeping an eye on. Like Malcolm Roach is a good example. Like, I know Malcolm Roach is a Sunday player. Malcolm Roach has played football on NFL Sundays and been an effective run stopper and interior rusher for the New Orleans Saints. I'm not telling you I think he's a starter that I want playing 60 snaps a game, but as a rotational piece, he's a Sunday player. He should make this team. I don't worry about him. I mentioned just a minute ago Kirk Merritt. Merritt has by all accounts performed at a high enough level that he should have a roster spot. And the fact that the Saints have tried him at receiver, we've seen him on special teams, they're repping him at running back, tells you they are trying to find an excuse to keep this guy. I thought when we visited with Maddie Hudak yesterday, she had a great point. She compared him to Ty Montgomery. And Ty Montgomery's a guy who, when the Saints signed him, I loved that signing from Green Bay because he was a guy that could be a receiver. Remember when he was lining up as dotting the I in Green Bay, taking handoffs, wearing number 88? I loved it. Returner as well, very versatile. Merritt's the same guy. The problem in New Orleans is he ain't playing receiver. You're stacked there. You're probably going to keep another running back after Dwayne Washington, who's already a running back, who's going to make this team as a special teams guy. Now, he's been injured, but I'm assuming because he's been so valuable in that role in the past. And Deontay Hardy's your returner. So I don't know that there's a spot for Kirk Merritt. I'll be interested. He should have a roster spot, but how do you justify it? Because if you keep him, someone that in a spot where you would normally keep another guy doesn't make this team. There's really two positions that I think they got to work hard to fill, and I think this game could go a long way to determining that. One of them is on the offensive line. Now, hear me out here. We all know the five starters are set, provided James Hurst is healthy. It doesn't seem like his injury is season-ending or anything like that, but he's just tweaked and they're holding him out. But we know those five are there with Hurst, Pete, McCoy, Cesar Ruiz, and Ramczyk. Your first five are there. We know Penning's making the team in Throckmorton. That's 7. Usually you keep 9. So they got 2 more spots. Ethan Greenidge, they loved him. IR, his time in New Orleans is probably done. Sage Dockstader is another guy who played a bunch. Forrest Lamp. All 3 of those guys are on IR. So who are the guys that are going to win your other 2 spots on the offensive line? Generally, you want guys that are versatile enough to play the interior spots or the tackle spots. And, Landon Young, obviously, is a guy they used a draft pick on who got injured at the end of last season. He's a guy that's there. And, you look at a lot of these guys on the offensive line that are trying to win a starting spot. We've seen Nick Martin play really well at center. He's been one of the highest graded guys on Pro Football Focus. But really, Ruiz is your backup center. So do you keep Martin? Could he be your versatile interior guy? Lewis Kidd is a guy who probably has a lot on the line. The rookie out of Montana State. They brought back Derek Schweiger, who's someone worth keeping an eye on. Derek Kelly is a versatile swing lineman. And I only bring these up because, look, we saw it a year ago. All 4 of your starting offensive linemen outside of Cesar Ruiz all missed time last year. So you needed Throckmorton to play. Hurst became a very valuable piece for you. Will Clapp had been a versatile guy for you who could play any of the 3 interior spots. He's with the Chargers now. So you got to find those guys, and it's not just to hang on to a ninth offensive lineman. You've needed those guys, and you're going to need them again at some point this year. I mean, knock on wood, you hope these guys stay upright and healthy, and you get your whole starting 5 that stay healthy the whole year. History shows that's not reality, and especially where we've seen Andres Pete, who's been, unfortunately, an injury-prone player throughout his career. Hurst is hurt right now. Ramczyk got hurt last year. So, yeah, I definitely am curious who those final 2 offensive linemen are going to be. And then linebacker is the other spot. And I've talked about that really so far in this camp, until I'm blue in the face. But you feel so good about your first guy in Demario Davis, who's an all-pro. And then after Demario Davis, of course, Pete Werner, provided he's healthy, and it looks like he's coming back. But you've you've clearly been in search of veteran guys to supplement that linebacker room. You brought in Kiko Alonso, and he retired after a day. And after that, you go and you sign John Bostic. And you got Eric Wilson as well, 6-year player out of Cincinnati. It's clear, look, there's young guys they like. They like Andrew Dowell. Caden Ellis is going to make the team, 4th-year player out of Idaho. But they need other reps there or other bodies there and experienced options as well. The one that's really interesting is Nafai Sewell, who's a guy right now who he was a rookie out of Utah, but this weekend he was repping with the ones with Pete Werner out. I mean, they're clearly giving guys like Sewell and Kirk Merritt every opportunity to make this team. Kirk Merritt running at running back, Sewell running with the ones. I mean, they're getting as good a look at these dudes. It's clear they've narrowed their scope with who they're looking at right now for these final roster spots. So those are the guys that I'm going to be keeping an eye on when the Saints play the Chargers on Friday night. I get it. It's a Friday night. A lot of y'all probably won't be locked into Saints-Chargers in the 3rd preseason game, but these are the types of decisions, these roster decisions, where you build your depth on a roster to make you bulletproof. Every team deals with injuries. Your depth on that roster determine how well you're able to compensate through those injuries. You lose an offensive lineman, who's the next guy up? Well, for the Saints, years ago when that was Sinio Kelmete, he played exceptionally well, got himself a big contract in Houston because he was good as a swing offensive lineman. Who are those guys this year? That's what they got to figure out here as they head into the final preseason game. All right, it's after further review break. We'll go around the SEC. Larry Holder in 30 minutes from right now. To start hour 3, I'll delve into how LSU can make the college football playoff this year. I'm not saying I'm predicting it. I'm just putting the roadmap how it could happen. That's coming up in hour 3. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana. They're online at lainsurance.net. Better coverage for less money. You know the drill, and they're there for another hour, so you can still give them a shout here on this Thursday. We all get it, man. Right now, price of everything has gone up. Gas prices have gone up. Gallon of milk, everything costs more. So if you're trying to find a way to give yourself some financial relief, there's 2 ways to do it. Find a way to make more money, or find a way to save more money. Well, Insurance Network of Louisiana can help with that second option. Let them shop independently for free to see if they can get you better coverage for less money. Instantly. As soon as you switch, you start paying less. You could potentially save hundreds or thousands of dollars annually on your insurance coverage and get better coverage. Find out today. 293-0450, 293-0450. Call, like literally right now, 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Go back to school in style with a new or pre-owned vehicle from Corval Toyota in Opelousas. It's an easy process, and vehicles are getting to our lot weekly. Make the decision now or reserve your new Toyota today. Come on down to Corval Toyota in Opelousas. That's Happy Town, USA.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Remember, the Brian Kelly Show debuts tonight in Baton Rouge. It's on Eagle 98.1. That's a shift from years past where the Coaches Show had been on Wednesdays. Now on Thursdays. That's a Brian Kelly decision. Of course, it's his show. It's his prerogative to have it on whatever night he wants that best fits his game week schedule. So make that note. Coach's Show tonight and Thursday nights moving forward, 7 o'clock on Eagle 98.1. You can always text the show in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400. Sean said, Matt, has Trequan Smith been cut yet? When that happens, can we get an Hallelujah chorus? No. Because I already did that. Right? I mean, Trequan Smith was a free agent this offseason. And the Saints didn't re-sign him. And so we sent him to the Island of Misfit Toys. I did the whole damn bit. We did the Island of Misfit Toys bit. And he got one stinking workout. He got one workout. You want to talk about validation of every opinion I've ever had on Trequan Smith? I'm in a mood today, y'all. Like validation of every opinion, when a former third-round pick is an unrestricted free agent, the team that drafted him does not re-sign him, and he gets one workout from your division rival, the Atlanta Falcons, who also choose not to sign him, and then he's back on a veteran minimum contract trying to make the team? No. Bro, if he makes his team, I'm going to be so pissed off. I'm serious. I'm going to be pissed off.
Red face rant?
Oh.
Yeah.
And I never intend to do it. People think, it's all scripted and planned. No. It's just, that's my personality. I get started, and I know where it's going to end up. Like, once I get started, once you open it, you just got to let them go. Because it's just, I know where it's going to go. If I start, it's better to just not start, just to hold it all down, to suppress it all. Because if I don't, then it's like Mount Vesuvius. Here comes the eruption. And especially now when I'm bald, my head's all red, so now it looks even like a volcano. There's a new Skip Bertman book out. Excited about this. Did you read it yet, Muse?
No, it just came out.
It's been out for several weeks.
Oh, I thought it just came out like last week.
I think
it just came out last week.
I think the 12th.
Okay.
Today's the 25th. Like just about 2 weeks. Yeah.
Huh? Okay.
Anyway, it's called Everything Matters in Baseball, the Skip Bertman story. How about that? I'm excited to read it. Got my copy right here. There was a Skip Bertman book. This is written by Glenn Gilbo, by the way. And I talked to Skip today, and we're going to have him in studio with us for an hour. I believe we're going to do it the week of the New Mexico game. Well, I mean, come on.
Makes sense.
That's
good.
It was his idea, too. I was like, thank you for recognizing that. But we're not just going to talk about baseball, and we're not just going to talk about the book. We're going to talk about Skip's life, football, AD, all that sort of stuff. So, but I'm excited about this. There was a book I read this book probably in 07 or 08. It came out prior, 20 years prior, I guess, at the time. When Skip won his first national title, can you please Google the name of the Skip Bertman book? There's another one that came out like in 91. See if you can find it, please. When Skip won his first national title, he finally agreed to write a book. So it came out early 90s, and I was at the Score 1210 at the time, and I read that book because I used to babysit the radio stations at night. It's a long story, but when you have EAS, emergency alert, someone has to be present at the station all the time. So I had this like weird late night shift where I was there from it's like 11 o'clock every night. So I would sit around and read books or do whatever. But yeah, what was it?
I got January 1st, 92, Skip, the man in the system.
That's it. Okay, Skip the 90, so January 92. Makes sense. Wins the 91 national title, writes the book. So I read that one. It's fantastic. As far as I know, there hasn't been another Skip Bertman book since. So, look, let's just be honest. I don't mean to be morbid, but we all know Skip's not going to be around forever. And the fact that he took the time to do this with Glenn, and so there is this record now, is fantastic. And I think every LSU fan should have. I haven't read it yet, full disclosure. I can't endorse it because I haven't read it yet. But my guess is it's going to be one of those things where, especially because it had Skip's cooperation, my understanding is Glenn interviewed like 200 former players. I mean, they had a ton of participation with this. Every LSU fan, every baseball fan should probably have this book. So they published it through Acadian House, and it is available at acadianhouse.com. And I did tweet out the link to it earlier today as well. So Skip Bertman, Everything Matters in Baseball, the Skip Bertman story, is now available, written by Glenn Gilbo. Talked to Skip earlier today, so it was great to work with Glenn. So Glenn did a great job with it. So you can check it out. Everything Matters in Baseball, the Skip Bertman story. You could buy it at acadianhouse.com. All right, it is After Further Review. We are glad to have you with us here. Nicely done, Paulie. My mistake. If you're watching, I was setting it up, but Paulie had to get a tight shot on it from right up against me. So I think you had like a lot of my blue shirt and whatnot instead of just off to the side. That's for those of you who are watching, and those of you who maybe noticed that little minute detail. For the many of you listening or who didn't notice that, I probably just wasted about 20 seconds of your life. So what the hell? Let me remind you about Michelli Weighing and Measurement, and then we'll go around the SEC. Michelli.com. Michelli.com. You know where to find them. 75 years in business. ISO 17025 accreditation is available. You can go to the website, hit the services tab. You'll see all of the different services that they offer. If you want to request a quote, you can do it. You want to ship your equipment to Michelli, you can do it. You need a piece of machinery calibrated on site, they do that as well. It's Michelli.com, and they are hiring. You could go to work for a company that's been locally owned and operated, valuing people for 75 years. Michelli.com. Hit the careers tab right at the top. You can apply for the job you're looking for. Michelli.com, Michelli.com. Okay, we do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Texas A&M Aggies.
Jimbo Fisher was asked after Wednesday's scrimmage if he has settled on a starting quarterback, and he deferred. Said he still doesn't even know as of now, and he said when he'll name a starter, quote, when I'm ready. The competition is among three players: veteran Haynes King, of course LSU transfer Max Johnson, and freshman Connor Weigman.
The Florida Gators.
So Florida was at practice on Wednesday and got some pretty good news with wide receiver Ricky Pearsall returning. He's been out with a foot injury. Pearsall is the Arizona State transfer who is expected to be Florida's best wide receiver on this team. Offensive lineman Ethan White also returned. He had been out with an undisclosed injury. That was a surprise. Billy Napier said he's their projected starting left guard, by the way. Said he would expected to be out for a little bit. Also, Antoine Powell-Ryland Jr. Returned, as did cornerback Jason Marshall Jr. So Florida looks like they are returning to health.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Defensive lineman Taylor Lewis, his Arkansas career is over before it started. He's entered the transfer portal. Lewis is a redshirt junior. He's from Chicago. Transferred to Arkansas this offseason from the JUCO ranks, where he was playing in Santa Clarita, California. He chose Arkansas over Auburn, Nebraska, Oregon State, Washington State, Missouri. So he had some big-time offers, picked the Hogs, but he just made it through camp and now is leaving the program.
the Missouri Tigers.
And Mizzou has awarded its number 25 jersey. It's a tradition they've had since 2009 where they've assigned the number to a defensive player, usually a freshman, to wear over the course of their career to honor the late Aaron O'Neal. If you remember, Aaron O'Neal was a linebacker who died during an offseason workout in 2005 at Faro Field. Mizzou will continue the tradition this season. Freshman out of St. Louis, Jamarian Wayne, will wear number 25 throughout his Missouri career. During the 2008 season, which would have been O'Neal's senior year, the Missouri team honored his memory by assigning a different senior to wear number 25 each game throughout that year, and now they choose a freshman to wear it throughout their entire career. There you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends Gulf Coast Office Products. You know where to find them. GCOPnet.com, GCOPnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Face-to-face sales, service after the sale, the official office equipment provider of the LSU Tigers, the New Orleans Saints, the New Orleans Pelicans, and the ULL Ragin' Cajuns. Mentioned that Texas A&M still hasn't named a starter, nor has LSU, Auburn, Ole Miss. Got a handful of schools in the division that are still settling in on a starting quarterback. Yesterday, we got an update from Auburn. Our buddy Zach Blackerby stopped by. Today, Neil McCready will be here in hour number 3 from Rebel Grove to talk to us a little bit about the Ole Miss situation. We are all assuming that it's going to be Jackson Dart, the USC transfer, although they haven't formally named a starter yet. And are we maybe giving Ole Miss a little too much of the benefit of the doubt? I mean, my contention is, and I think most of you would probably agree, that Lane Kiffin deserves the benefit of the doubt because everywhere he's been, he's developed quarterbacks, and they've been really good, whether it's guys he recruited, inherited, or if it's transfers. But, Jackson Dart, played last year at Southern Cal as a true freshman and threw for 1,300 yards, 9 touchdowns, 5 picks. I mean, good, not great as a part-time player. But we are assuming he's going to be really good. And do they deserve the benefit of the doubt? We'll talk about that in hour number 3 with Neil McCready. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Tell you every day, do business with someone you know. That's us, Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com. Commercial or residential roof repairs or roof replacements. 2 things. Number 1, with all this rain, a lot of people have needed roof repairs. Get it. We do have repair crews that can handle the smallest repair job to the most gigantic commercial job you can imagine. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. And so many commercial entities are just now learning that Hudco that we have a commercial division. We do. Does not matter the material of the roof, the size of the building, or where it's located. Hudco Roofing, we'd love to help. You can even go to the website. Right there on the main page, there's a commercial services tab. Just tap that, and you can see all the info about all the commercial roofing jobs that we do. HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com. All right, it's After Further Review. We will wrap up hour number 1 next. Stay here.
AFR.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, wrapping up hour number one. Glad you're with us. Larry Holder in 10 minutes from right now. Uncle Larry, by the way, no longer on the Saints beat exclusively for The Athletic. He's covering the NFL news, the NFL news beat. So we will have sort of a general NFL conversation heading into the final week here of the preseason. We will talk some Saints, but some other big topics around the NFL. By the way, the NFL is making its Amazon Prime debut tonight. A lot of people don't realize this, but you do have two televised preseason games. You'll have the Packers-Chiefs on NFL Network at 7 Central. And then at 7:15, a short time later, the Texans-Niners will be the debut of the NFL on Amazon Prime. Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime. Now, it really debuts in 3 weeks with Week 1, obviously. When and the Week 1 game is going to be really good. That's Chiefs-Chargers. Chiefs hosting the Chargers at Arrowhead is going to be a fire game to start Thursday Night Football. So that'll be a really good test of the numbers. For what it's worth, if you're wondering about viewership on Amazon Prime, and I'm curious, by the way, Muse, make that the poll question today. Will something along the lines of, will you be able to watch Thursday Night Football on or will you watch Thursday Night Football this year on Amazon Prime? Something like that. Because I'm curious, there are 200 million worldwide households that have Amazon Prime. The overwhelming majority of them are in the U.S. It's an estimated 157.4 million Amazon Prime users in the U.S. So an average primetime NFL game, the networks like to draw up 20 million. Amazon has told its sponsors they're expecting 12.5 million viewers per game. Now, they're not going to do that for a preseason game. I think we all understand that. But it will be an interesting test case to see what type of volume they do on Amazon Prime tonight. Again, I don't think it's going to be very indicative. Week 1, Chiefs Chargers. That's going to be massive. You get the LA market, you get Patrick Mahomes, that's a great matchup as well. Divisional matchup, that's going to be fun to watch. So that'll really be a key indicator of how many people actually are going to find this on Amazon Prime. But if you want to watch Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime, it does in fact debut tonight, 7:15, Niners and Texans from the Bay Area. All right, that'll put a button here on hour number 1. We'll grab a quick break. Sports Center's coming up. Get you caught up on national headlines. Uncle Larry joins us next. Looking forward to that. Maybe Uncle Larry's Storytime returns.
AFR.
Hey, I want to take 60 seconds and remind you about the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com. Eye care, eyewear, eye surgery, the 3 things we always talk about. The eye care, of course, you can do your whole family's annual eye exams at the Williamson Eye Center. They got locations all over. Multiple locations in Baton Rouge, Zachary, Denham, Gonzales, New Roads, now in Lutcher as well. So they got tons of locations where you can go do that annual eye exam. Eyewear. Now for back to school, buy 1 pair of glasses, get the second pair 50% off, 50. Great offer at the Williamson Eye Center right now. And of course, eye surgery. Do what I did. It's been about 4 years now since I had my LASIK. Still seeing better than 20/20. No matter your age or your refractive issue. You want to see perfect without glasses? You can. Contact the Williamson Eye Center.
Bayou Ford has $14,000 off MSRP on a new 2021 Ford F-150. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This isn't just another day, it's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. Miller Lite has more taste and only 96 calories. It's Miller time.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Another injury for the Yankees. This time it's lefty Nestor Cortez. He'll go on the IL with a groin injury. The Yankees open a 4-game series in Oakland against the A's tonight. ESPN has learned Cowboys offensive lineman Trequan Smith will probably be out until at least December after tearing his left hamstring. He got hurt during Wednesday's practice. ESPN's Todd Archer says based on the numbers, Smith's absence will be noticeable.
Zeke Elliott yards per carry goes down by half. The sack total increases by more than 50%. So you're talking about a guy that is, as much as he's been hurt, has still been an effective player. Still was named to the Pro Bowl last season, even with missing as many games as he did.
Todd Archer on This Just In. Smith will have surgery tomorrow. Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson won't play in the preseason finale Saturday night against the Commanders. He'll play the season opener without taking any preseason snaps. Novak Djokovic won't play in the U.S. Open. He's still unvaccinated against COVID-19 and not allowed to travel to the States.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. That's right.
Hour 2. Off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. I'm Matt. I am sweating. All new.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there. Make it a good one. It has been a hot minute. But Uncle Larry makes his return to AFR. Larry Holder of The Athletic. No longer Saints beat writer or columnist Larry Holder. He's general NFL news guy Larry Holder. It just doesn't have the same ring. But how are you anyway?
I'm good. It doesn't. I was starting to do this kind of transition last year in terms of covering the league, and now it's been different. I will say it's definitely been a little bit different. But sometimes in life, Matthew, you do the same thing for a long time, and I was kind of offered this little opportunity and decided to take it. But obviously, I'm still following the Saints and following everything that's going on, but now I got to follow everything else. So it's certainly a little bit different.
Kirk Merritt, you think he's going to make the Saints? John Bostic, what are the chances there?
Yeah, I at least know who John Bostic is, and I've heard of Kirk Merritt.
It's so funny because we were talking earlier this week, like you haven't watched a single Saints camp. You haven't been to a single Saints training camp. It's obviously a very different role for you. So having gotten to get a different perspective on the league here in this training camp, do you have any sort of, I don't want to say like hot take, prediction, whatever, something, an opinion that stands out that maybe is contrary to what most people might think right now going into the season?
Well, yeah, I will say that first off, it's bizarre. I started covering Saints training camp in 2006, and this is the first time I hadn't been there, so it's been a little strange.
Yeah.
To kind of be detached from that, but also monitoring everything across the league. And so I do feel like that the national media and other markets I feel like they're sleeping on the Saints. And I've been pretty consistent in thinking that. And, when you look at, say, the odds makers, a lot of times, a lot of the sports books have Saints 8.5 over under, and I feel like that's low. So I feel like that the Saints are at least more in the conversation that maybe they're getting credit for. And, I still do a lot of radio, radio hits all over. And I always say that I feel like the Saints are a 10-win team, and then you get into the playoffs and then you see what happens. But, I mean, that's also contingent on what happens with Jameis Winston. Can he be the guy? Is Michael Thomas going to be ready to go in terms of being a number one guy? And, just seeing my peers and everybody reporting on how well he's looked, it seems like those signs are positive. But I do feel like that maybe people outside of this area are not as high as they should be maybe on the Saints.
Let me get your take then on the rest of the division. I look at Tampa, and I've been on this for a couple of weeks now. I think the injuries are a concern, the coaching change, Brady going MIA for 11 days. I think Tampa's got real issues. What do you think?
I think their issues are actually more up front, the front five, than maybe people are giving credence to. And that's something actually I was paying a lot of attention to last year, kind of nerding out with some of the metrics we use at The Athletic along the offensive line with pressure percentage and things like that. And look, Tampa all of a sudden is down a Pro Bowl center, and they're down to their third choice probably at one of their guard spots. You had the retirement of Ali Marpet, and then Alex Kappa goes to Cincinnati, which is certainly going to be a benefit for Joe Burrow. They've revamped that line. But I feel like that they could be in Tampa, they could be starting a rookie at one guard spot. The other guard spot is Shaq Mason, who Tom Brady's actually familiar with because they played together in New England. But then you're going with kind of an unproven center as well. And so maybe Tom Brady stepped away and said, no, even though it was pre-planned. I know I'm joking here, but still,
I don't think
he
so.
looked at the offensive line and was wondering, is this going to be the right choice for me?
Do you realize how close we were to Kyle Trash era?
I'm just going to bring up the story that I told you. I'll make it public. I was playing in a tennis tournament in Baton Rouge this past weekend, a state tennis tournament, and we were playing at Highland. And, of course, very close by, which I didn't even realize. I'm just oblivious that Calandros was very close by, and I was not playing one round. So I said, hey, let me go buy the team a beer. And so I went in, and I said, man, no wonder Matt talks about Calandros all the time because they got a lot of bourbon in there. And it just struck me there, and I said, damn it. Kyle Trask is about to cost me a bottle of bourbon in this store. And then in the conversation we had off the air, I said, can I go back to my positive take on Kenny Pickett? And you were not allowing me to do that quite yet.
No. And, the Kenny Pickett thing, I'll so by the way, for those who don't, Larry was very bullish on Kyle Trash. I said Kyle Trash was not going to be a good NFL quarterback. He insisted he'd be a starter and be very good, or I forget exactly the terms. Basically, you can just buy me something now. But Kenny Pickett, I don't know. Last year, there was a narrative around Zach Wilson in the preseason, how good he looked with the Jets. And he stunk last year. So why are people getting so excited about Kenny Pickett because of his first preseason of his rookie year?
Well, I think that you look at the Steelers and people probably think that the Steelers are in better shape than the Jets, which I would agree. Offensive line, supporting cast, running backs, wide receivers, that's probably it. But also, I think when they look at the alternative, I don't think anyone really believes that Mitchell Trubisky should be the starter. And so I think that's probably part of it. But it's something you got to get into the regular season. That division is going to be really tough. I don't think there's any doubt about it. And I'll just kind of localize this, considering we're talking about the AFC North. And if you look at odds makers and people sleeping on a team, I think people are sleeping on the Bengals big time. Like, people all of a sudden think that the Ravens are going to jump back, and they all of a sudden forgot that the Bengals are actually any good, and they've improved in spots. And I mean, the Steelers might finish fourth in that division just because of their erratic quarterback play because they don't know who they're going to go with. But, but going back to Pickett, look, I'm still high on him. And let's go back to Kyle Trask for a second. I didn't say he was going to be a superstar. I just said he might start within 3 years, and I'm still going to lose that bet.
I mean, I think
I'm going to lose that bet.
I think what you said is that Kyle Trask is going to be a Hall of Famer.
Oh, then yes, absolutely. Can we get the old Muse to play the tape? Can I make that call?
Do you think Muse actually marked the tape? Muse, did you mark the tape?
I don't think I was producing the show whenever y'all made that bet. That was 2019 or right after 2019, wasn't it?
No, it would have been 2020 because it was after.
Maybe I was back then.
Yeah, you were here. You were here. Thanks for paying attention, Muse. We probably did the segment at 4:25. So, Larry,
we're getting close to 4:20 as it is. So hey,
if people are sleeping on the Bengals, what team right now is getting too much hype? Who is overhyped?
A lot of people are starting to jump on the Eagles bandwagon, and I kind of get it. The injury to Trequan Smith from Dallas, that's going to hurt and maybe have them drop. But I think people are a little too bullish on the Eagles. I still have questions with Jalen Hurts just being, say, a top 15 quarterback. I mean, can he be that? Yes. They've made some improvements. They went and got A.J. Brown. They've beefed up on defense. Their offensive line should be a little bit better. But I think people are kind of overhyping them. And I'm trying to think of a team in the AFC. Oh, I'll definitely tell you a team in the AFC, the Broncos. I think people are overhyping them because I'm not sold that they're even going to finish second in the AFC West, even with Russell Wilson. And just because they got him, I need to see them become better on defense. And it's not like Russell Wilson has been great in the last year and a half. And I know he banged up his finger and all, but still, he hasn't been great in that span. So I think Eagles, NFC, and Broncos, AFC, I think both of those two teams are getting overhyped.
Boy, that division. I mean, look at the quarterbacks in that division. We've talked about it. Obviously, plenty of people have already. But, I mean, is Derek Carr or Russell Wilson the worst quarterback in that division? It's incredible just when you look at how stacked they are at quarterback in that division.
Throw either of them in the AFC South, and they'd be like Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
Right.
I mean, that just goes to show you how. But also in that division, those teams didn't just improve. Obviously, Russell Wilson, and we're talking about quarterbacks, but a lot of those teams went out and tried to improve defensively. I mean, look, the Chargers went out and traded for Khalil Mack to team up with Joey Bosa. They got J.C. Jackson, who is a really underrated cornerback, who is one of the better corners in the league, especially last year, but in the last couple of years. And look, even Denver, they went out and got Randy Gregory, who is he's kind of an underrated pass rusher. They got him from Dallas. So I think teams are trying to improve defensively, basically to kind of combat the arms race that's going on in the AFC West.
He is Uncle Larry. He's Larry Holder. No longer Saints beat writer Larry Holder, but general NFL news writer Larry Holder from The Athletic. Is that what it says on your business card, general NFL news writer?
No, it does not say that. I don't even know if I have a business card. So if we made one, if we had a business card, I would say that I'd be an NFL writer / columnist.
I would like for you to add the word general before it. General NFL writer / columnist.
Just be like a general guy.
Yeah.
Just a general guy.
Larry Holder, human, who thinks Kyle Trask
humanoid
is going to the Hall of Fame. Okay, we're going to pick out a really good bottle. I mean, something real nice. And I'll look forward to you buying it for me soon.
We still have 2 years for me to win the bet. And B, we maxed it out at $50. So get your best $50.
No. There was no such max. We are going to find this audio. There was no max. And when I find it, I will doctor it to make sure that it says no max on the bet. All right, thank you, Uncle Larry. It's great to talk to you. We appreciate the time.
Good talking to you, and I'm going to change it and just make it a bottle of my own concoction, Smoker's Cough, Jaeger, and mayonnaise, and that's what you get. Delicious, nutritious. Eat it up.
Have a wonderful day. We'll see you later. That is
good catching up, buddy.
you
We'll
too.
talk soon.
That is Larry Holder. He's on Twitter at Larry Holder. This is After Further Review. Who's going to be LSU starting five on the offensive line? I'll make my pick next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Pluckers. Thursday night football. You got games tonight. You got the first ever Amazon Prime game tonight. You've got a game on NFL Network as well tonight. You need a place to watch? Of course, you're going to Pluckers. Nicholson, just south of campus, or Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Not only do you have football on TV tonight, but every single Thursday is all-you-can-eat boneless buffalo bites. Bite size, it's like little chicken poppers. It's the white meat, breaded, fried, tossed in your favorite wing sauce, and they will keep them coming all night long until you say no mas for one low price. That's every Thursday at Pluckers. All-you-can-eat boneless buffalo bites, both locations. Nicholson, just south of campus. Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. You can go traditional wings, any of your favorite sides, ice cold draft beer, full service bar, sports on TV. What more in the world could you want? It's Pluckers, where if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
Vizzy, the first hard seltzer with antioxidant vitamin C. It just hits different.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans. Alexandria.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and Citizens Bank and Trust hope to add to your football party budget this year with a $5,000 national grand prize or $1,000 local cash prize. Register for a chance to win at 1045ESPN.com. Best of luck and happy tailgating from Citizens Bank and Trust and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
When Brian Kelly met with the media on Tuesday, he did update some of the battles on the offensive line, and there seems to be clarity at one position anyway, and that's snapping the football. Here was Brian Kelly earlier this week.
We're still moving some pieces around. I can tell you that, the good part is Garrett Dellinger has really settled in at the center position. I think, it was it last week where, I was pretty vocal about the snaps. He's really settled in nicely since that day and has taken ownership at that position and has been extremely consistent. So we feel really good there at the center position. We've been working Bradford at some guard position, but as you know earlier, he's played a lot of tackle. So that's given Cam Wire some opportunity there. I think what we're looking for is some key backup situations. I think we've got a pretty good sense of the 5-6 guys, and now it's about getting that seventh, maybe eighth guy. But I think we feel pretty comfortable with knowing that we've got 7-8 guys, and that's going to be our rotation.
So 7-8 guys, that's the rotation. And you heard him say there, kind of in the Dellinger has established himself as center, but you heard him say, Bradford at guard, which has allowed us to play Cam Wire at tackle. So I think he's kind of tipping his hand a little bit at this point. I'll tell you, if there is a big disappointment, and I want to be clear, I really always try to make sure I don't call out college athletes. I don't mean for it to be insulting, so I'm trying to think of a way to phrase this so it doesn't come across in too negative a sense. I certainly, let's just say it this way, I was pulling for Charles Turner this year. It's rare that a guy sits and waits until his fourth year for an opportunity to play. Typically, if you haven't cracked that rotation by your third year, most guys transfer. They transfer because you've now had 2 more years of recruiting classes behind you of really good players ready to take your spot. So if you're not playing by year 3, it's probably not going to happen. There are exceptions. The one that I've pointed out so frequently is Lloyd Cushenberry, who was literally the last guy in the class. He was a signing day addition when they just had an extra spot. They added him from Dutchtown, and he sat and waited his turn. And they went into spring, going into the 2018 season, and it was very much up in the air, and he just put a stranglehold on that job in spring and never let it go, became a 2-year starter, got drafted, started as a rookie in the NFL. So it's possible that guys develop later. Some guys just aren't ready at 18, but by the time they're 21, they're ready to roll. And, I mean, that was the case with Cushenberry, and I was kind of hoping it would be the case with Charles Turner as well. But unfortunately, talking about a redshirt junior guy, 4th year in the program, and Garrett Dellinger, a true sophomore, who's never snapped the ball, wins that job. So on one hand, it's a tip of the cap and an attaboy to Dellinger for being versatile enough. And keep in mind, Garrett Dellinger was not available in the spring. He had shoulder surgery. So this dude wasn't even snapping the football in the spring. Hey, this is brand stinking new for him. And he's won that job, which is phenomenal to see. So I mean, that's the great part of it. I mean, that's the positive. The disappointment certainly is Turner, who it seemed like this was going to be his opportunity, and it doesn't look like it's going to work out for him. So I'm kind of looking at that first 5, and it seemed like they were set, man. The whole first 2 weeks of camp, they ran up that same first unit every single day, where you started with Will Campbell, and then went Trequan Shorts, Dellinger, and then you had Miles Frazier at right guard and Anthony Bradford at right tackle. And I'm the one who asked Brian Kelly the question a couple of weeks ago if his 5 were set, and he said no, we're gonna change it up a little bit, and they did this past weekend. And we saw Miles Frazier move to left guard. We saw Cam Wire going at right tackle. They kicked Bradford down to right guard, and I think that's going to be their starting 5, especially when you think about what Brian Kelly just said. The two certainties locked in right now, Will Campbell's your left tackle, Garrett Dellinger's your center. And if you're going to start with two positions, I'd want you to start with those. They're the two most important positions on the line. The left tackle, we all know, you protect the quarterback's blind side. And the center, is the only player aside from the quarterback that touches the ball on every play and makes all the calls. So those are the two most important positions. If you say, all right, where are you going to start? I want to start with those two. So you got center, you got left tackle solidified. Yeah, it's a true freshman and a guy that has never played the center position ever. But those are two really talented guys, maybe your two most talented linemen with the highest ceiling. So let's see if they can go make it happen. I would tell you, if you're asking the question, okay, who are the next best three? If the objective is get your best 5 linemen on the field in whatever combination, Dellinger and Campbell starting there at center, left tackle, respectively, is a great place to start. But considering Trequan Shorts is the guy they kicked out, I think that's pretty telling. And they kept Bradford and Frazier on the field just in different spots. I think that tells you they want those two guys on the field. They're in their best 5, along with, I think they feel, Cam Wire. And then Shorts is your 6th guy, who can play either guard or tackle. Played tackle at East Tennessee State. They've had him at guard so far. So if I had to pick it right now, I'd tell you from left to right, they're going to run it out there. Campbell at left tackle, Frazier at left guard, Dellinger at center, Bradford at right guard, and Cam Wire at right tackle. I'll remind you about Bradford. Anthony Bradford last year started the UCLA game at right guard. He started the season opener on the road in the Rose Bowl at right guard last year. So, and then they had a revolving door at left tackle. And Bradford played a handful of games at left tackle and obviously ran into some off-field stuff and ended up not playing the back end of the season. But Bradford can play guard or tackle, but I like him on the interior. And if you could put Cam Wire, who's got experience at right tackle, at left tackle, kick him over to right, I like that a lot, considering those two guys have played together, Bradford and Wire. So you put two guys on the right side that are veteran guys, experienced, they've played together. I like that lineup, and I think that's the one they're going to run out. I'll say this again, y'all. The offensive line for me is my single biggest concern on this entire roster. There are certainties. You're really good at receiver. You're really good on the defensive line. I think you got a bunch of experience in the secondary. You're going to be pretty good there. I think you got enough numbers at linebacker to make it work. Running back depth really scares me, but you got some dudes that are SEC talents, and I think you got 2 quarterbacks that both can be pretty good, and you got good options to choose from. We'll see how they go. Special teams is terrifying, but offensive line for me, it's my biggest concern, because if you don't figure that out, everything around it blows up. And whether you think John Emery or Noah Cain or Armani Goodwin are going to be really good running backs, don't matter if the line can't block for him. You may think Keyshawn Butte is going to have an All-American caliber season, and I think he's certainly capable of. He's the best receiver in college football. But if the quarterback can't stand upright to deliver him the football, it don't matter. So, the fact that you got a true freshman left tackle, a sophomore center who's never played the position in his life, some guys that played tackle last year that are now playing guard, guy moving from left tackle to right tackle. I mean, you got 5 dudes playing positions that they weren't playing a year ago and all trying to figure it out together. So, yeah, I'm terrified. But I also think that's one of the primary reasons why Miles Brennan isn't here anymore, because this coaching staff knows, especially with this offensive line, they got to have a mobile quarterback. They have to have a guy that can make plays with his feet if things break down, that can extend plays or tuck the ball and run. And so that's a reason why I think Jaden Daniels and his explosive running ability is going to get the first snap, and he's going to benefit from it. And hopefully erase some of these offensive line deficiencies the way Joe Burrow did so effectively in 2019. So they're getting closer. The good news is Garrett Dellinger has solidified that job. So the 2 most important positions on the offensive line at this point, you've got those locked, loaded, and ready to go for the season opener against Florida State a week from Sunday. All right, we're brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service, name brand tires at wholesale prices. You know where to find them. They're online at ShawBillsTire.com. Or you can find the location nearest you with 18 locations across South Louisiana. There's a Shaw Bills location nearest you. For me, the one on Burbank, right near Traction, right there, Burbank and Bluebonnet is the one that I go to all the time. But, man, there's Shaw Bills locations all over town. The newest location is in Livingston Parish, right there in Denham. You got your own Shaw Bills now. Find the location nearest you. Schedule service online. Shop tires online at ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling. All right, y'all, it's after further review. Let me knock out a break. We will have Tigers in the Pros about 15 minutes from right now. Jacob Berry mashed a homer last night. We'll get to that in Tigers in the Pros. He's making waves in the Marlins organization already. Quick reminder, 45 minutes from right now, we're going to talk to Neil McCready from Rebel Grove, covering Ole Miss. One of the things that I'm trying to do here this week is get caught up on some of these quarterback battles in the SEC West. So we talked yesterday to Zach Blackerby to kind of get an update at Auburn. It seems like TJ Finley's going to be the guy. We'll talk to Neil today about what's going on at Ole Miss, where it looks like it's going to be Jackson Dart, but we'll get the latest. And tomorrow we'll try to get an update at A&M, where they're still trying to decide among three guys, including Max Johnson and Haynes King. So a lot of quarterback battles still being decided right now in the SEC West, LSU included among them. So let me knock out a quick break, come back, get your Saints injury update as well, as the Hoodats are getting ready for the final preseason game tomorrow in the Dome. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. You know, one of the things that I remember talking to Matt Rick, who's the GM over there, and he told me this years ago. He said, you know, you could have 10 different companies install the same AC unit, and you could have 10 different install jobs. So the level of certification by the install tech matters. The attention to detail, the care, all that matters toward the life and longevity of your system. They saw this a lot post-flood in 2016, where a lot of people just went, you know, they went low budget and hired anybody to come in and try to install a system. And, you know, within a year, River City's 1 Hour Air was ripping that unit out and putting in a new one because they had a bad install. Do it right the first time. Trust River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Kids have staked out their place at Ochsner Medical Complex The Grove, where more than 30 pediatricians and pediatric specialists are all conveniently located under one roof, so you can spend less time driving and more time keeping your kids well. Dibs! It's no wonder kids call dibs at The Grove.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
In about 25 minutes from right now, to start hour 3, I will run through how LSU can make the college football playoff. I'm not predicting that they will. I want to be very clear. I will just run through how they can. We'll get to that coming up in hour number 3. You probably saw it today, big news in the NFL. Trequan Smith, the big left tackle from Dallas, 8-time Pro Bowler, had his hamstring torn off the bone yesterday. So he is done at least until December. So the Cowboys on that offensive line, which at one point was where they had invested so much of their draft capital. And they had inarguably the best offensive line in the NFL. Injuries, retirements, defections through free agency. Lyle Collins obviously is now in Cincinnati. Trequan Smith is injured. Zach Martin is still there, and he's a phenomenal player. But, boy, that's just a shell of what it was. A lot of pressure on Dak Prescott. But, I started thinking about it today, man. And it's almost like you don't talk about people who won't talk about a no-hitter during a no-hitter because they don't want to jinx it. I don't necessarily believe in jinxes at all. I don't think it's stupid. But I do believe, a lot of times what you focus on, you will draw to yourself. This Saints team has been very lucky, LSU by extension, to avoid a major injury in camp. And there's something to be said for it being luck, something to be said for it being circumstance. If you're practicing guys harder, longer, you're increasing the possibility of an injury. And then sometimes there's just freak things that happen. The guy tore his Achilles running wind sprints yesterday. Happens, unfortunately. But, man, you go look at NFL. You go to look at, the NFL page at ESPN.com. Trequan Smith faces surgery, December return. Dallas's Jerry Jones said, Michael Gallup, he's going to start the season, or won't start the season on PUP, but he's on there right now. Giants receiver Johnson tears Achilles. You could run through the list, y'all. I mean, the Saints have had bumps and bruises. Jameis tweaked his foot. Taysom Hill had the rib thing. I mean, there's been some of that in camp. But, not, Hurst right now is on the shelf. But none of that looks like it's long-term or going to affect the season. Look at the Jets. Mekhi Becton, done for the year. Mentioned the Trequan Smith injury. About Tampa, Ryan Jensen, done for the year. Aaron Stinney, done for the year. Carolina, Matt Corral, done for the year. I don't know that Corral would have had a big impact, but my point is you can run through these lists, guys, of season-ending injuries that happen in camp. And sometimes, look, it hit New Orleans last year. And the fact that it hit LSU last year. And the Miles Brennan arm break, a few days before camp opened. They completely changed the complexion of last season before the season started. But the Saints have been lucky right now. Hopefully they can maintain health, as a former coach around here used to say. And after last year, as snake-bitten as they were a year ago with injuries, let's hope that the tide turns this year, and both LSU and the Saints can stay healthy and hopefully achieve what they can. All right, it's after further review. By the way, you want to bet on those win totals for both, you can. DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. You know the drill by now. download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. You want to bet win totals, futures, prop bets, individual award winners, Heisman, whatever it may be. You can do it. And remember, you got 2 NFL games tonight you can bet on at DraftKings, and it's week 0, y'all. You got a slate of college football games this weekend. Week 0 in college football. Remember, our friends at DraftKings, for new customers, they're offering an amazing deal. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Bet just $5 on any college football bet. Week 0 game, a prop bet, over-under for the season, win totals, whatever it is. Bet just $5 on a college football bet. Win or lose, they give you $200 in free bets instantly at the DraftKings Sportsbook. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, but remember, you got to use the promo code Baton Rouge. That's number one, how they know we sent you. That's also how you unlock that great promotion. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. If you've been sitting on the fence thinking about it, you've heard us talk about it, you're listening to Otter Locks, whatever it may be, and you're like, okay, this is the time. Never sport bet before. We're going to do it now. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. Bet just $5 on any college football bet. They'll give you $200 in free bets at the DraftKings Sportsbook. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Select parishes only. One per new customer. Minimum $5 deposit and wager. $200 issued as 8 $25 free bets. Restrictions apply. See terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Licensing partner Gold Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-7-0-STOP. Muse, give me a poll question update, if you would, today, please.
Sure thing. Today's Citizens Bank poll question of the day. Will you watch Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime? 55.6% say yes.
Maybe a better question would be, do you have Amazon Prime? And I wonder if people know if they just thought it meant tonight's game. Do you have Prime?
Yes.
Paul, do you have Prime?
Yes.
So, I mean, I'm assuming, like, the three of us in this room, we all have Amazon Prime, and we all know how to access Amazon Prime. Correct. So, like, we will all be able to watch. My assumption is, market by market, this will become relevant when your team is playing on Thursday Night Football. When your team is on Thursday Night Football, you're damn sure going to go find Amazon Prime. And that's what Amazon wants. I mean, Amazon, I've said this before, Amazon don't care about football. Amazon don't care about the NFL. Amazon wants to sell you toothpaste. They want you to buy every damn thing you buy on Prime. I mean, they want you to be an Amazon Prime. They're just looking to use football as a gateway to Prime, so you buy everything on Amazon. I mean, that's all this is. It's not that they want to be in the sports distribution business. They want to be an onboarding users business. So if this is how they're going to onboard tens or hundreds of millions of more people, that's what they're going to do. So, I will be, my suspicion is that as the season goes along, you will see, like with the XFL or these alternate leagues, there's always like these really big ratings initially, and then they just get cut in half because people get less and less interested. There's a curiosity initially, and they get cut in half. Well, that's the product. That's not distribution. This is a distribution thing. As the season goes along, people will be like, oh, yeah, I forgot it's on Prime. And people will subscribe to Prime, and they'll get the games that way, and you'll see more and more of it. So I will be very curious as that goes along. When you look through the season, we mentioned a great Week 1 matchup with Kansas City against the Chargers. You get a great quarterback matchup there as well. It's Week 2, I guess I should say, Week 2 of the season. Then you get Pittsburgh at Cleveland. Of course, Steelers fans are going to find that game. The Thursday Night Football slate generally is lacking, but Miami at Cincinnati in Week 4. You get Joey B. You better believe a lot of people here are going to want to watch that game, so they're going to find their way to Prime if they haven't already. So I'll be interested. I'll be very curious to see what the numbers look like, the viewership numbers look like for Amazon Prime tonight. It's a preseason game. They're not going to be huge, but I do think that they'll increase as the season goes along. All right, it's after further review. Quick break. Muse will have Tigers and the Pros to wrap up hour number 2 next.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Baton Rouge General, where they are expanding health care for the greater Baton Rouge area. I tell you all the time about the amazing different services that they offer. If it's the Pennington Cancer Center, of course, the Baton Rouge General has the regional burn unit at their Mid-City location. I tell you all the time about the Ascension Neighborhood Hospital, where there's emergency care now available in Ascension Parish. And, of course, the Mayo Clinic Care Network. If you want to learn more about the Mayo Clinic Care Network, you can go to the website, brgeneral.org. It's right there, the flipper on the homepage. The Baton Rouge General, this is exclusive in our market for the Baton Rouge General, where they are partnered for clinical collaboration with the experts at the Mayo Clinic, meaning your physician here can consult with the doctors at the Mayo Clinic, have access to their research at no extra cost to you. It's the Baton Rouge General Hospital. brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org for the Baton Rouge General Hospital, part of the Mayo Clinic Care Network.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today at revelryteam.com. Revelry Sports, the official tailgate partner of LSU Athletics.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Ford has $14,000 off MSRP on a new 2021 Ford F-150. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you. Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Wrapping up hour number 2, I teased that to start hour number 3, I'm going to tell you how LSU can make the playoff. That's not a prediction. John Jones via text. Breaking news. Matt predicts LSU to make the college football playoff. No! Don't do to me what I did to Ryan Clark last year.
Yep.
I know where you were going when you were reaching for the mic. I knew what you were doing. Yep. But I sit here so I can do that to him. You don't get to do that to me. Not on my show. If you go on someone else's show, you can do it to me. Okay, Muso, Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
Do you think it's John Jones, like the fighter John Jones? It's spelled the same way, Jon.
I don't think so. I would hope that John Jones is a better person than the other John Jones.
This John Jones is a 49-year-old from Marrero.
Yeah, different guy.
Not the same guy. No.
Very different. So tonight, Kevin Gausman gets his turn to humiliate the Boston Red Sox. Gausman 9-9 on the year. He'll get the start. A 2.99 ERA, 129 and a third innings, about 149 strikeouts and just 22 walks. You know, as great as it was to see Gausman have the career year last year, get paid, it's been even better to see him follow it up this year with another stellar season. Aaron Nola will be on the mound tonight as well. He'll pitch his heart out against the Cincinnati Reds. The Philadelphia Phillies probably won't score much, and in the end, Nola will probably get a no decision because that's how it goes. I mean, when you have a sub 3.5 ERA, when you have a whip that's below 1 and 174 punch-outs and 157 innings, and your record's 8-10, your lineup stinks.
I mean, eventually they're going to trade him, right?
I would hope so. Like, Aaron needs to get the wheels in motion on that, I feel. Because this is ridiculous.
I wonder if he cares.
Maybe not. I don't know.
They drafted him, paid him $100 million.
Made him the ace of the staff.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he made himself that. But yes, I understand your point. But at some point, if you're the Phillies, aren't you going to look at this and realize I have this great asset that we can't support? We're not good with him. Let's go get a whole bunch for him and make our whole team better.
It makes sense to me. I mean, yes, that thinking makes sense to me. Jacob Berry, part of the Jupiter Hammerheads, they beat the Daytona Tortugas last night.
Like the rum?
Yeah, like the rum. These are two great logos, by the way. Go look those up. But anyway, Berry 2 for 3 last night in the 2-hole, playing third base, mind you. Hit his second home run of his career, 4 RBI and 2 runs scored. Jacob Berry hitting .254 so far in low A baseball.
You want to guess what side of the plate
the home run came from? Well, I mean, I would think left, but because you're asking me, I'm thinking it came from the right side.
Left.
It was left. Okay.
Yeah, I hit the crap out of it, too. Right there. I mean, smashed it. Got all of it.
Golly. I missed that guy already. Yeah. So good.
Good.
Golf. Sam Burns. FedEx Cup Playoffs Tour Championship, round number 1. So Sam, he's 1 under par so far in his day, but that means he's 6 under for the tournament because they have that terrible scoring system in the Tour Championship where he started at 5 under par.
It's so weird. So they adjust the score for your hand, not for your hand.
It's where you are in the FedEx Cup rankings.
That's
it's
so stupid.
It's stupid. Scotty Scheffler started at 10 under par today. He's 12 under. So Sam's currently 6 shots off the lead. Yeah, I don't know. The winner of the Tour Championship wins the FedEx Cup. Moving on. Cyril Grayson was cut today by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So he was dropped with an injury designation. He will revert to injured reserve if he goes unclaimed on waivers. That is Cyril Grayson. Of course, remember, man, the biggest moment of his career last year in the Superdome, the long touchdown reception.
Shut up.
In a losing effort, mind you, for the Buccaneers, but that did happen. And speaking of the New Orleans Saints and how they normally beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they waived Gerald Hawkins yesterday off of injured reserve. He was placed on injured reserve, and they signed a cornerback. Now he is no more part of the New Orleans Saints. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com. LMFJ.com. 2 locations in Baton Rouge, corporate in Bocage, and in the Mall of Louisiana. Gentlemen, if you're thinking of popping the question, one place to go. The place where Baton Rouge has gone for 40 years to get engaged. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, because they purchase diamonds from the most elite, exquisite minds in the world, and because they purchase for 9 stores, they always can give you a best price for a beautiful diamond that will thrill her and make you the hero. And, of course, you always get the Lee Michaels experience, no matter your budget. They do an amazing job of making you comfortable and creating a buying atmosphere. That's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com, LMFJ.com. For Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Hey, speaking of golf, how did Curtis Thompson do this weekend?
I don't know. He wasn't in the FedEx Cup playoffs.
Oh, thanks.
I'm not sure.
Such a shame.
Great guy, though. We love him.
So Rory and Tiger are out there trying to save golf. Is that what I see, Muse?
It's so bad. It's just not good.
What are they doing?
It's going to be a team format where basically they're going to play on a simulator in prime time on Monday night. It's going to be in like this IMAX arena. They'll hit into a simulator, 3 per team, 6 teams. Then they have like a live simulated green that they can actually put on. Why?
Well, didn't Tiger and Rory have a meeting with all the players?
Yeah.
To get them to stay.
That was part of this.
Just pay them a whole lot more.
They're working on that too. 12 up events now.
I get it. You're still not close, and Liv is just going to keep
but
paying
you're never
more.
going to be, right?
Hour 3 next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Relief Windows. ReliefWindows.com. 288-8138, 288-8138, or ReliefWindows.com. You know where to find them. ReliefWindows.com. It's windows, doors, and siding. Of course, siding. If you want to change the exterior of your home, beautify, modernize the exterior of your home in like 14 days, give Relief Windows a call. Talk about siding. It'll come finished in whatever color you choose. Energy efficient, storm resistant, fire resistant as well. It won't crack or peel or chip. It's an amazing option for your home. Hardy plank or vinyl siding. There are no staples either. They hand nail every piece of siding at Relief Windows. They take time to do it the right way. ReliefWindows.com. Schedule a free consultation or go check out the brand new Relief Windows showroom on Airline Highway in Prairieville, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, or online, ReliefWindows.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, Hunt, and Hill, the early line. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Yankees left-hander Nestor Cortes will go on the IL with a groin injury. Cortes is 9-4 this season for New York with an ERA under 3. The Astros put closer Ryan Presley on the IL today with neck spasms. Bryce Harper will play for the Phillies tomorrow night. He was out 2 months with a broken left thumb. Thunder rookie Chet Holmgren will miss the upcoming season with a right foot Lisfranc injury. The 7-1 center got hurt trying to defend LeBron James at a Pro-Am game in Seattle. ESPN's Stefania Bell.
Surgical repair is what will happen, and then it's a lengthy recovery. It can be 4 to 6 months to get all the way back from it. But the good news is once it's repaired and once you get reconditioned and readapt to the sport, you should be fine going forward.
Stefania Bell. Holmgren was the second pick in this year's draft. The Lakers finalize a trade with the Jazz to get guard Patrick Beverley. In return, Utah gets Talen Horton-Tucker and Stanley Johnson.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. And now, a no-frills ad brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Here it is. You could save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive. That's it. See? Just a good old-fashioned, straightforward ad. See if you could save at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE or Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Muse. Ooh. And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. Neil McCready, rebelgrove.com. Less than 15 minutes from right now. Getting caught up around the SEC West where they still have quarterback battles. Yesterday we looked at Auburn. Today we'll look at Ole Miss. Tomorrow we'll go check in on Texas A&M. I have, for many weeks now, given you my season prediction for LSU. I think they're 8-4. I've gone through it. I'm settled on it. I think they start 4-0. I think you split the month of October 2-2. Of course, that's at Auburn, home against Tennessee, at Florida, home against Ole Miss. I think you split those. You get one of each. You get one of the home games, one of the road games. You split it. So you come through October, you're 6-2. You're going to lose to Bama. You're going to beat UAB. Can you split the at Arkansas, at A&M games? You do that, you're 8-4. I think that would be a fantastic start for Brian Kelly, especially given what he inherited. A roster that had 39 available scholarship players for the bowl game, had to add 15 transfers just to get his numbers back to respectability so he could field a team of guys who've actually played college football. Overhauled the entire staff, had to change the culture, everything we've talked about. And oh, by the way, you're in the SEC West and Tennessee rotates on your schedule, and you got Bama, and you got to go to Florida and Auburn and Arkansas and A&M. That's a bear. This team gets to 8-4 with everything they've gone through. That's a win for Brian Kelly. But what if they do better? What if they do better? Some metrics like LSU told you that FPI has LSU favored in 9 games. Now, some don't. Bill Connolly's SP Plus has LSU winning 6 games. Vegas has LSU anywhere 6.5, 7. I guess it depends where you lay your money. So I do think they'll go over. But what if LSU does manage to do better? So ESPN has what they call their All-State Playoff Predictor. And they use all of their metrics to spit out who actually has a percentage, what teams actually have any percent chance of making the college football playoff. And this year, 2022, there are 20. Of the 131 FBS teams, there are only 20 with a chance of earning a berth in the college football playoff. And some of them are the obvious ones. Ohio State has the best odds at 83%. Ohio State has an 83% chance of making the playoff. Bama's at 79, Georgia's at 75, Clemson's at 58, and then you have a massive drop to Notre Dame at 17%. And there's Michigan, Texas, Oklahoma, Miami, Utah, Oklahoma State. And your Fighting Tigers of LSU. There are only 11 teams in the country that have a better chance of making the college football playoff than LSU. Only 11. Now, they were 6-7 a year ago. And according to the playoff predictor, LSU has only a 3.2% chance of making the playoff and a 0.2% chance of winning the national title, which they won't do. But the door is open. Some of these things are obvious when they lay it out. Toughest test, of course, Alabama. No doubt. I don't think LSU's winning the Alabama game. I also don't think that matters, and I'll tell you why in just a second. They lay out what the committee will like. They talk about November, that November schedule where they could upset Alabama, maybe road wins at Arkansas and A&M. That'd be a great way to punctuate the season. They point out what the committee won't like, and they say no improvement on defense. LSU allowed 30 points and 427 yards per game over the past 2 seasons. Defense has been absolutely atrocious, obviously. But I'm going to disagree because one of the things that I am more bullish on right now has been the way the defense has performed. So I think the defense is going to improve. What, to me, in all of this is so interesting is of course, I'm not going to pick LSU to go undefeated. But in a vacuum, on a given Saturday, could LSU beat Florida State? Could LSU beat Mississippi State in Baton Rouge? On a given Saturday, can LSU go to Auburn and win that game? What about home against Tennessee? Would you be fall over stunned if LSU went to Gainesville and beat Florida in year 1 under Billy Napier? Or beat Ole Miss in Baton Rouge? What about Bama at home? I don't think you're winning that game, but that won't matter. I'll tell you why in just a second. Could LSU go to Arkansas and win a game? Shoot, the last time LSU went there was the freaking COVID season. They were brutal. TJ Finley led a game-winning drive in the rain to beat Arkansas up there. Of course LSU can beat UAB, and can they beat A&M? Of course they can. They've owned A&M since A&M's been in the conference. And A&M's got their own issues this year. So in a vacuum, could any of those things happen? Of course. Again, not likely to happen. But when you look at this All-State Playoff Predictor, LSU, I mentioned that there's only 11 teams with a better percent chance of making the college football playoff than LSU. And I ran through the list of them. Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, Clemson, Notre Dame, Michigan, Texas, Oklahoma, Miami, and then LSU. Which means LSU has a better percent chance, according to this metric, than Auburn, than Texas A&M, than Ole Miss, than Mississippi State, Tennessee, Arkansas, Florida State, Mississippi State. The only teams on LSU's schedule that have a better chance of making the playoff than LSU is Alabama. The only team on LSU's schedule that has a better chance of making the playoff is Alabama. And I'll remind you, while there's never been a 2-loss team make the playoff, we've seen 1-loss teams make the playoffs every year. And there have been 4 times where teams made the playoffs who were proverbial long shots. 2016 Washington, 2018 Notre Dame, 2020 Notre Dame, and then last year, 2021 Cincinnati, which is the first ever group of 5. In the college football playoff era, there have been, in the 8 years, of course, 32 participants. 6 of them have been non-conference champions. So, LSU can go 11-1, lose to Bama, and still get not play in the SEC championship game, and theoretically still make the college football playoff. I want to tell you, I don't think it's going to happen, of course. I've told you, I think they're going to go 8-4. But there's a lot of people who are believing in A&M that have put them in the top 10. This metric has LSU better than A&M, and a lot of metrics do. For whatever it's worth, I asked Jimmy about LSU and point spreads and all that stuff for this year. Of course, LSU is going to be an underdog to Alabama. He's got Auburn and Tennessee as coin flip games. And LSU likely as an underdog to A&M, Arkansas, Ole Miss, and Florida. The only game that LSU will be favored in is the home game against Mississippi State. There will certainly be a favorite in is the home game against Mississippi State. We'll see what happens at Auburn, home against Tennessee. But all those other games, even if LSU's an underdog, you're talking about a game that on a neutral field would probably be a toss-up, something within a field goal. So I think LSU is going to play a lot of close games this year, a lot of close games, a lot of one-score field goal games. I think it's going to feel like all of them are like that. LSU did that in 2007 for the bulk of the season, and they won a lot of really dramatic games. Lost a couple of them in triple overtime. I don't know how this season's going to go. I've told you how I think it's going to go. Maybe, just maybe. If you want to believe, at least one metric thinks it's a possibility. All right, it's after further review. Ole Miss. Let's see, this predictor gave Ole Miss a 0.9% chance of making the playoff. It's interesting that that predictor gave LSU a better chance of making the playoff than it did of winning the SEC, which makes sense. They're not going to be Bama, so they're not going to go to Atlanta. Doesn't mean they can't go to the playoff. Again, I don't think it's going to happen, but just file that away, just in case. All right, let me knock out a break. We'll come back. We'll head to Oxford. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouses.com or download the Rouse's app. Of course, you can get your own personal shopper. Of course, you've seen the shopper style ad. I think it's funny. I love it. Shopper going through the grocery. Only in New Orleans, affiliated with the New Orleans Saints, could you have a NOLA Bounce artist walking through a grocery store, playing a NOLA Bounce store, shopping. I love it. Rouses.com. Check it out. You've got Saints game, of course, the final preseason game tomorrow. Week 0 is this weekend. If you're going to be having tailgates, game watch parties, or just hanging out watching football all by yourself, let Rouse's do the shopping for you. Download the Rouse's app. Go to Rouse.com. Select all your items. It's super easy. And then they'll go shop. You pull up. They'll bring it out to your car. Saves you time. It's Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's. This feels like home.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Go back to school in style with the new our pre-owned vehicle from Corval Toyota in Opelousas. It's an easy process, and vehicles are getting to our lot weekly. Make the decision now or reserve your new Toyota today. Come on down to Corval Toyota in Opelousas. That's Happy Town, USA.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, glad you're rolling along with us here. As we mentioned, the SEC West has quite a few quarterback battles. I mean, there's a couple of givens. Like we know KJ Jefferson at Arkansas, of course, Bryce Young at Alabama, but you look at LSU and Auburn and Texas A&M and Ole Miss, all have quarterback battles that are still up in the air. Neil McCready, our buddy from rebelgrove.com, good enough to join us, talk a little bit about the Rebs. Let's head over to Oxford. Thanks for the time, man. How are you?
Hey, Matt, I'm good. How are you?
Really well. I've always assumed, I think like many has, that this is just Jackson Dart's job. Is it not?
It's a good question. I don't know. I think it probably is, but they, in the spring, Dart was obviously knows a lot of adjustment, new to the system, new to Oxford, new to everything, new to the team, new to the players, all that stuff. And Luke Altmaier's been in the program for a year, and I think people forget that Luke was a highly recruited player. In fact, when Lane Kiffin got the job way back in 2019, back before we did all the pandemic stuff, when Lane got the job, one of his first flights was to Starkville, and he tweeted out a picture of the Starkville airport. And, of course, everybody thought he was trolling Mississippi State. He wasn't. It was his way of telling people, hey, I'm after this kid at Starkville, Luke Altmaier. That was his first priority, and that was a big flip for them. And, Luke, all that people really remember about Luke was the Sugar Bowl when Corral got hurt. He came in, and obviously he struggled against Baylor, but most anybody would have. And, in the spring, Altmaier was the better quarterback, and they've gone into camp, and they're different players. Neither one of them has been, according to multiple sources, neither one of them has been able to just run away with the job. You know, Lane has put a positive spin on it. You know, that the good news is that neither guy has played so bad that it makes it obvious. But I think in an ideal world, he would have one of these guys consistently win it, but that hasn't been what's happened. I think one day one guy will be better, and the next day the other guy's better. And you know, the way their schedule shakes out, they have some time. And I asked Lane on Monday, was there a possibility that they did a co-starter at least early in the season? And he said he wasn't ready to say that yet, but that they would cross that bridge when they got there. So that wasn't exactly the firmest no in the
world. How do the two players differentiate? Are they similar, Neil?
I mean, they're similar in size, and they're both, you know, fairly athletic kids, and mentally, I think they're kind of different. I think Jackson Dart's a guy that is going to push the ball down the field a little more aggressively, sometimes to his detriment, but sometimes puts the ball in a place where receivers can go up and make a play, which is something that I think coaches want in this day and age. Luke Altmaier, I think, has a tendency to be ultra conservative, and I don't mean that in a political sense. I mean from a, hey, I'm just not going to take chances, and he'll check down and check down and check down, and I think that becomes kind of a frustrating thing for coaches as well, because that's not really who Lane Kiffin is. Lane Kiffin is a pretty aggressive, you know, push the ball down the field, take shots kind of a coach, and I think Luke sometimes is a guy that is, you know, trying to make sure he doesn't make mistakes. And so they've tried to get the two of them. They've tried to get Luke to be more aggressive, and they've tried to get Jackson to be more aware of his, you know, need to protect the football. And I think in the process, they've been successful with both, and the two quarterbacks aren't separated by that much right now. And then you get into just the dynamics of it, right? Altmaier has not used his transfer yet. He signed with Ole Miss out of high school. Obviously, Dart has used his transfer. So if Dart doesn't win the job, what happens? Is he happy? If Altmaier doesn't win the job, does he say, hey, I got to get in the portal here soon. I don't need to play more than 4 games and lose a year of eligibility if I'm not going to be your guy. You know, here's the other thing, Matt. Both of these guys are 19 years old. Luke turns 20 the day of the Ole Miss LSU game. Jackson Dart doesn't turn 20 until May. I mean, these are two young guys. So it's not a real simple decision. There's a lot of kind of dynamics that come with it.
Would Lane play 2? Has he ever done that before, Neil, at any of his stops?
I've asked him, and he said he's kind of done it, you know, a little, but he doesn't like it. He doesn't think it's the way to go. He thinks with quarterback especially, you just need to have confidence. You need to play. You know, you need to – that guy needs to be the guy. And so – But he has also said that you can't force it, and you can't force a decision if the decision's not there. Yeah, I think he could play too. Here's the other thing, Matt, and this is what I meant earlier. Their first 4 games are Troy, Central Arkansas, at Georgia Tech, Tulsa. Now, no disrespect to any of those teams, but if Ole Miss loses one of those 4 games, they got bigger issues than who the quarterback is.
Fair.
You know, so they've got a month before the schedule gets really freaking real. I mean, they got Kentucky, then they go to Vanderbilt. Then after that, dude, it's on. It's Auburn here, at LSU, at Texas A&M, Alabama, at Arkansas, Mississippi State. I mean, the back end of that schedule is a beast. So they got a little time to get it right, but I think in an ideal world, he has a starter who builds camaraderie and chemistry and momentum and such in the first half of the season. Because, again, that second half, whew.
You know, if they beat Kentucky, there's a really good chance they start 8-0. I mean, that's a very real possibility. That was a big talking point this year at media days was Ole Miss. That's schedule. November's brutal. The way it finishes, undeniably, is brutal. But they have a great chance to set themselves up for something potentially special.
I get it, Matt, and you're right. I get it. But look, I've been on this beat longer than I ever dreamed I'd be on it. And 2 things. 1, Ole Miss doesn't beat Auburn. And 2, Ole Miss doesn't win in Baton Rouge. And to get to 8-0, they got to do both of those things. Now, could they? Sure, of course. But there are people that are doing this crazy thing that are like, oh, yeah, the Kentucky game's a win. Auburn's a win. At LSU, I'm like, hey, hold up.
Yeah.
Ole Miss, let me walk through what Ole Miss lost off last year's team, okay? Just real quick. You got a minute?
Yeah, please.
Both coordinators, probably the best quarterback to play at that university, not named Manning, Sam Williams, who had he not had off-the-field issues earlier in his career, would have been a first-round pick. They lost 2 linebackers, Chance Campbell and Mark Robinson, who both are going to play as rookies in the National Football League. And they lost Jake Springer, who is not an elite player, but he was elite at what Ole Miss asked him to do at safety. They lose all of that. They lose a 4-year starter at offensive line in Ben Brown. They lose Jerry and Ely, Snoop Connor. I know they replaced them with good backs, but when you lose that kind of production, you've seen this at LSU before. When you lose so much production and everybody goes, yeah, but they replaced them with all these other guys. I get it, but it takes a minute for those guys to kick in. When you lose that type of production, it's not automatic that you just fill in the gaps and keep rolling.
Neil McCready's with us, rebelgrove.com. That's a great point.
It's what, hey, frankly, not to interrupt you, it's the part of Nick Saban's tenure at Alabama that he just doesn't really get enough credit for. They lose that type of talent every year, and they do indeed not only plug it, but they never really fall off from a chemistry standpoint. That is the power of the program that he's built. Well, Lane's awfully early here to be able to assume that's going to happen. Anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I'd much rather you talk than me. That's why I invited you on. So what is there?
I think they're really good up front on the offensive line. They have some veterans. They don't have a lot of depth, but I think if you talk to people around the league, that's pretty much everybody saying that, right? Nobody has a ton of depth on the offensive line. Even Alabama's got some offensive line question marks, best I can tell. We talked about quarterback. They're loaded in the offensive backfield. Zach Evans is a terrific player. They've got some depth behind him, including a freshman, Quinshawn Judkins, who I think has a chance to become a household name in this league. They've got Jonathan Mingo back at receiver, who was very good last year until he got hurt. Looks good in camp. They added a bunch of transfer portal guys at receiver, Malik Heath from Mississippi State, Jalen Robinson from UCF, Jalen Knox from Missouri. They just kind of added people all over the field on offense at skill spots. Defensively, they lose Sam Williams, but I think they're going to be pretty good up front. They're certainly deeper than they've been probably since 2015. The best Hugh Freeze team. A lot of question marks at linebacker. I have a chance to be really good in the secondary, depending on some young guys, that kind of thing. But the talent's there. Their kicker, who was so good a year ago, is suspended this year because of performance-enhancing drugs, and they're replacing a punter who was really, really good over the last couple of years that didn't get a lot of attention because he's a punter, but they're having to replace him. So, I think they are potentially a really good team, but they are a team that has enough holes playing that schedule that it could get problematic.
Okay, so last thing. You said playing that schedule. They obviously have a chance to start hot, start fast, as we talked about. What would you say is a realistic ceiling, and then what is a realistic floor?
Sure, I think the ceiling's 10-2, and I think the floor is 6-6, and so I will pick them to go in the middle. I've every time I do it, I go to 8-4, and if you told me I'm off the game, I'll say 7-5. But if you told me if the football gods dropped in here and said, nope, they go 9-3, I'd go, okay, I see it. I'd be surprised at anything over 10, and I'd be surprised at anything under 6. But anything from 6 to 10, it's doable. But 10 wins, man, it means you lose probably to Bama, and it means you win 2 out of those 3 road games, which at LSU, at Texas A&M, at Arkansas in November, it's their senior day. Ole Miss beat Arkansas by 1 point on 1 play last year. You know Arkansas is going to circle that game. And they have a veteran quarterback. I keep hearing this knock on KJ Jefferson. He's never going to play in the NFL. And it's like, so what? No one's asking him to play in the NFL. He's a really good college quarterback. And he lit Ole Miss up like a Christmas tree last year. So, to get to 10-2, they're winning 2 of those games. And that's a lot. And that means they don't stumble at all. Again, they beat Kentucky. They beat Auburn. Obviously they go beat Vanderbilt. They beat Mississippi State. They beat Mississippi State twice in a row. State's going to have that game circled. There's just a lot there. And I think they do get to 6. I think they win all 4 of their non-league. They're going to beat Vanderbilt. They're not going over in the other games. So I think 6 is the floor.
He is Neil McCready from Rebel Grove. I said last game, one more. If I had to ask you, because this was the thing at media, it was the biggest topic at media days, was everybody knows Georgia and Bama are at the top of their division, but there was not in any way a consensus as to who is next in each division. What would you say?
I mean, I'm not saying this because I'm on LSU Baton Rouge radio. I'm really not. The knock on LSU the last couple of years was dysfunction, right? Disorganization. No one ever said to me, hey, man, this team's just not very talented. I never heard that about LSU. Mm-hmm. Never heard it. Now, maybe you'll tell me they just weren't very talented. But what I heard from people is
they had 10 players drafted off that team that went 6 and 7.
Yeah, so what I heard about them last year, and I don't think you would dispute this. I mean, I don't think anybody in your audience, even the people that wear the most purple and gold glasses, would argue what I'm about to say. What I kept hearing from people around that program was that they were just disorganized. They were dysfunctional. Well, Brian Kelly might be a lot of things, right? But he's won everywhere he's ever been, and I have never heard anyone describe a Brian Kelly team as disorganized, as dysfunctional. They might lack a quarterback, or they might lack some speed or something like that, but I've never heard them question that. So if LSU is suddenly organized and functional and operating efficiently, I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that they're still pretty talented. And so if you told me there's a team, that might be who I go with. I'm not ready. I'm not one of these people that blast. I'm not blasting A&M. I'm just not ready to go A&M's that team.
Yeah,
I mean, A&M lost to a bad, checked out LSU team at the end. They lost to Ole Miss with Matt Corral limping around on one foot. They lost to Mississippi State. They didn't just lose to Arkansas. Go back and watch that Arkansas game last September. Mm-hmm. If KJ Jefferson doesn't make a really bad read in the third quarter of that game, that is a blowout. And so we're crowning them all of a sudden because they have this great recruiting class. And I'm not disputing that it's a great recruiting class, but it's a bunch of freshmen. Show me the last time that a team full of freshmen go dominate the league. Yeah. It doesn't work that way. And Jimbo talked a lot, and Alabama's going to circle that damn thing. And I mean, you know that.
Yeah,
you know how that works. I mean, he's going to circle that, and so I'm just not ready to go with them. You know, I think Arkansas is going to be good. I think Ole Miss is going to be good. I just not ready to go that far. So, you know, I would tell you Kentucky or LSU would be. Look, if you told me to go take a flyer on a team with some crazy odds, I'd put my money on LSU. And if you told me it wasn't them, I might go, hey, you know what? Maybe some of these NFL people talking about Will Levis are right. Maybe this guy's ready to be an elite quarterback. And I mean, I've heard some people do the Joe Burrow whispers on Will Levis. And, you know, Joe Burrow wasn't awesome in year one at LSU, but he was freaking amazing in year two. And so, you know, maybe Kentucky's that team that's ready to make that jump because a lot of the other things that you need to do it are there.
Good stuff as always, Neil. We appreciate you, man. All the best.
Hey, you too, man. Always great to visit with you.
Thank you, man. Neil McCready, rebelgrove.com, on Twitter at Neil McCready. I'll give him a follow. I want to react to that and talk a little bit about LSU special teams when we come back next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery, 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. It is time, y'all. It is fall. And at Clegg's, that means fall bedding plants, fall vegetable gardens, Johnny Naylor's seeds. It's time. You're a deer hunter? Mow bucks, buck busters, deer corn. They got it all at all 4 Clegg's Nursery locations. Segan near Airline, LA 16 in Denham. You know where that one is. There's not another garden center within a 5-mile radius of that Clegg's in Denham on LA 16. Mid-City on Donmore. You turn off of Florida onto Donmore. It's right there on the right. And the garden center on Greenwell Springs. If you're heading out of Central toward Baton Rouge, look on your right. You'll see it. You know exactly where it is. It's Clegg's Nursery. Check them out. Remember, they're partnered with True Value Hardware Store as well, so anything you'd find at a True Value Hardware Store, you'll find at Clegg's. Last Saturday for the Honeydews, before it's football season full on, get by Clegg's Nursery.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Ford has $14,000 off MSRP on a new 2021 Ford F-150. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Thanks again to Neil McCready for joining us from Rebel Grove. Interesting commentary there. I mean, Neil's always been a straight shooter. He is as impartial of a beat writer as I know. I mean, it's funny because a lot of times you do have beat writers that, or people on a beat like me, that stay on a beat for a long time that are from the place that, you know, or cheered for, supported the team that they cover, right? And that's very common. Neil's a guy who's from Monroe. He went to ULM, but he's been on the Ole Miss beat just a long time. It's not like he has a great deep, undying love or affinity for Ole Miss football or anything like that. He just covered the team for a long time. So he will often give you really good insight. So appreciate Neil. That's interesting. I mean, I've looked at Ole Miss, and my hand is in the air. I am guilty of just giving Lane Kiffin the benefit of the doubt. I know they've got really good running backs there as well. They did lose a lot on defense, and replacing Matt Corral is not easy. Dude, the way Neil said it, I think is right. Best quarterback not named Manning that's ever gone to that school. That's fair. That's not easy to replace, but that's just, I think, the respect that I and many have for Lane Kiffin just to figure it out. So stop talking about it and start finding out starting on Saturday when they tee it up and kick it off for real. Speaking of teeing it up and kicking it off, we have no idea who is going to do that for LSU yet. LSU is replacing all of their specials. Long snapper, holder, place kicker, field goal PATs, punter, everybody. Everybody is brand new. And we have not spent nearly enough time talking about it. And that is, for me, especially considering how many close games I think LSU is going to play this year, that is terrifying. The way I phrase it is like this. Let's say LSU's playing Florida State a week from Sunday, and there's 3 seconds left in the game, and LSU's down by 2. They've got a field goal from the left hash from 41 yards. How confident are you that Damian Ramos makes it? Cade York, put it on the board. Cole Tracy, pop the bottle. Damian Ramos, no clue. Now, in fairness, I would have said the same thing before the 2018 season. 2017 was a nightmare, y'all. They had Connor Culp and Jack Gonzalez. And Culp was the guy with the big leg from Arizona, really good leg talent. Just you couldn't always bank on it going straight. Gonzalez was a walk-on from Catholic High. Watched him kick a ton in high school. Same. Great leg talent. Just didn't always go straight whenever he put on the purple and gold. So 2017 was objectively a very bad year. And Greg McMahon fixed it. He went and got Cole Tracy. He went and got Cade York. And the last 3 years have been automatic. I don't know that I definitely don't feel the same way. I feel today like I did going into 2018. Shook off of how badly 2017 went and hoping that it would go really well. 2018 ended up being a year where they played a bunch of close games, y'all. We remember the walk-off that Cole Tracy hit against Auburn because it was huge. We forget how many kicks he made against Miami in that opener. In the rain against Mississippi State when drives weren't really sustained, but he just kept pumping them through. Even all the way to the bowl game against UCF. We remember it as a blowout. It finished an 8-point game. UCF rallied late in that ball game and only didn't get close enough because all throughout that game, every time LSU had an opportunity to put points on the board, Cole Tracy was automatic. So, how do you feel about it? I don't know that I feel great. Brian Polian said the same, y'all. I mean, it ain't Cade York walking through the door right now.
I think it's really important that we all understand, like, LSU fans, as it relates to kicker, like, you've been spoiled. Like, you know that, right? The last 2 guys have been unbelievable. I mean, I'm watching Cade on television, sent out there for a 55-yarder. He hits the upright, and it's halfway up there. I mean, he was a 4th-round draft pick for a reason. So I think if anybody's got the expectation that, hey, we'll be able to go out and bang a 58-yarder because Cade could do it, I don't think that's fair to the guys in the program. But Damian's got plus leg strength, like 50, 52 yards. We feel good about it. Now, we'll see what happens here in the last week as we finish up the competition.
Ramos, and I told you this, by far is the best leg talent. You don't have to be a talent evaluator to notice, but when we had the open practice last week and I went and sat and I watched a full period of the kickers, it is just so obvious. One guy is kicking it at the top of the net every time, and the others are getting it over the crossbar and hitting the bottom of the net. Like, one guy just has a better leg. That's Damian Ramos. 6'2", redshirt freshman, second-year player out of the Baltimore area. He's also a guy during the scrimmage period who missed a 37-yarder left. Now, he also had a pretty good moment as well. Brian Polian relayed a story that they had a 51-yarder to win the game, air quotes, in one of the scrimmages, and Ramos nailed it. Awesome. What about when it's Florida State, full Superdome, national TV, and you're playing for keeps? There's no way to replicate that. There's no way to recreate that. You just can't do it. You can try and practice. There's just no way to recreate all the variables. You just got to wait and see how it goes. Polian elaborated a bit more on how they're choosing this kicker battle.
The beauty of at least field goal kicking is it's pretty objective, right? I mean, they either go through the uprights or they don't. What we have done throughout the course of training camp is we have identified to the players we're working on skill and technique today, and today's an instructional day. And then there are days that we make everybody aware, hey, we are charting right now. And we'll go through a series of 5 or 6 different spots, make sure everybody gets a rep, we film everything, and we chart everything. And you look up after about 2 weeks, and you've got a pretty good body of work. Now, there is some intuition. There is a little bit of gut feel. How is a guy going to react in a team setting? As those numbers started to clear themselves up, we then, because you can't rep 4 kickers in a team setting, as a couple of guys began to separate themselves, now we put them into more 2-minute drill, overtime, team settings where we amp up the pressure a little bit. But, I was very curious to see how it was going to go in the stadium the other day. They were all PAT attempts, but we handled it, fairly well. So a lot of it's numbers based. And then after that, there's a little bit of intuition and how do you think a guy's going to react to what is going to be obviously a pressure field situation.
Look, y'all, your long snapper is set. It's Slade Roy, the transfer from East Carolina. Your punter is set. Jay Bramblett, Polian said he's been everything they thought he would be. He's a 3-year starter at Notre Dame. I got no problems with him punting. Awesome. Bramblett's also your holder. And look, Ramos is a right-footed kicker. The other 2 guys, Dybert and Mata, are lefties. So your holder is going to have to hold for lefties and righties, depending on who's out there kicking when it matters. Still don't know who's going to kick off yet, at least not what they've told us. But when you have the opportunity to put points on the board, you got to make it happen. Look, Cole Tracy was perfect inside of 30 in 2018. Inside of 40, he missed 1 kick all year. From 40 to 49 yards, he was 6 of 7. Perfect on PATs. 42 out of 42. His long that year was 54 yards. He was 29 of 33 on field goals. 29 of 33 and perfect on PATs. And then you went to the best kicker in the history of the program for the last 3 years, which has been incredible. So you ain't going to replicate that. Can you be good enough? You need to be. All right, it's after further review. Final break. Otter Locks is coming up, brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. I actually yesterday got a text from Kerry Manuel, the certified pre-owned manager over at South Point Volkswagen, and Kerry wanted me to let you know, I talk about the pre-owns all the time. He said they've got plenty of pre-owned SUVs, all different makes and models. So, of course, if you're shopping Volkswagen, but if you're looking for a certified pre-owned vehicle, all makes and models, get on by South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland or southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? Okay, final break. Otter Locks to wrap up the show next.
AFR.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
The best things in summer are unofficial. Coors Light, the official beer of everything unofficial.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her Auctioner primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an Auctioner care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioner Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, We've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All Star Toyota today.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big V and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Down the stretch, we come final segment here on a Thursday edition of AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. One thing left to do. Let's find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Workbox Services. For over 20 years, Baton Rouge's leader on on-site construction, industrial, and residential services.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and often incomprehensible, the Ott Father himself, Jimmy Ott. Otter, how are you?
Ring my bell, Musso. Come on, baby. Come on now. Come on. Ring my freaking bell, boy.
Take a bow. The Otters cashing tickets again.
Hey,
all you needed to do was stop betting against the Yankees, Otter.
That's true.
The Yankees win. Well, they didn't play yesterday.
That's right. Hey, these little big favorite parlays are hitting right now.
Yeah, man.
They are testing the limits tonight, though. The biggest line in like 4 seasons, the Mets and DeGrom minus 420. So, put these together here.
Wow.
Put the Phillies,
okay,
the Mets, and I cannot bet Garcia with the Astros right now. He is shaky right now. Can you put a run line in with a money line parlay?
Yeah.
Okay. We got Gosman minus 1.5, minus 113 anyway, so that's a separate bet. So, being that he's my neighbor, my former neighbor, or whatever. Remember when I was flexing on you on that one? So what are we going to do with it?
Well, it's either Gosman or Jimbo. You're going, my neighbor, Gosman or Jimbo. It's always one of them.
A leave a crap. I mean, I can't keep crap.
You think he's out suntanning in the middle of the day wherever he is now?
Yes. The dude suntans in his backyard and he doesn't have a pool. I mean, come on, bro. I mean, we need some new leadership in this school.
No. They've got new leadership, and we're A-OK now.
Yes.
Joe Oliva is a curse word on this show, so let's just be glad he's gone forever.
He needs to be a verb. What is Oliva the verb? What does the Moscona dictionary say about that?
You know what? Ask me on like scone and tea or whiskey and wine, so I can curse, because it's going to be vulgar, whatever it is.
Oh, yeah, it was too vulgar for me on that show. So anyway, all right, Toronto -1.5, -113, and then just put them on the road, man. I'm gonna
1 minute remaining.
Put Toronto, Philly, Met. What's that come out to? Toronto, Met, Philly, parlay, and he's been shouting the whole time. Plus 150.
Are you going Toronto money line or run line?
Toronto money line on the parlay.
On the parlay, got it.
Parlay,
got it.
And then run line on the game.
Got it.
I swore after Monday night when Atlanta was winning 16-0, and then they lost. I was done with preseason until tonight. Green Bay, Kansas City. Seriously, Kansas City has gotten a lot of Mahomes in preseason. They're backing off tonight. Rodgers will play. We're going Green Bay.
Otter is at Jolie Pearl. Have a great show. Thank you.
Kenny.
Time with Jimmy Ott follows us in Baton Rouge. If you're not in Baton Rouge, online at 1045ESPN.com. That's going to do it for us. Views, Paulie, thanks so much. Jimmy's next. Y'all have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 30.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, remind you about GMFS Mortgage and GMFSmortgage.com. Changing lives since 1999. Home buy, refi, construction loans. They do it all at GMFS Mortgage, and they want to be your lender for life. They're mine. When Erica and I got married, bought our first home, we financed with GMFS. When Drew came along, we needed a little more size. We sold that home. We financed our second home with GMFS. A couple of years ago, when rates were at historical lows, I did what I told y'all to do for years and years. We refinanced. We used GMFS Mortgage. You should as well. Great time right now for maybe a cash-out refinance. You want to take some of your home's equity and use that to do that home improvement project. Maybe go on the vacation you've been putting off forever. You can do it. GMFS Mortgage can help you. How? GMFSmortgage.com. Go to the website, hit loan officers at the top, find a local loan officer near you, and get started. GMFS Mortgage, your lender for life. GMFS Mortgage, changing lives.
Service Mastery Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Mastery Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Mastery Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located